030001. First interview of 2003. It's our 88th interview overall. We're at the home of Fred and Bee Peeples, and Fred was in the Navy in World War II. First of all, I'd like to thank you for allowing us to come into your home. What's the cat's name?
Sweetie.
Sweetie. We'd like to thank you, Sweetie, for allowing us. Because I got a feeling it's the cat's home probably as much as it is yours.
Well, I think it's mostly her home anymore.
Seems to be the way it works with cats.
Yeah, she pretty well takes it over.
Well, Fred, let's start out with your full name.
James Frederick Peeples.
Okay. And what's your date of birth?
May 19th, 1922.
May 19th, 1922. And what was your rank at discharge?
Coxswain.
Okay. Well, Cox and Peeples?
Yeah, they called me Cox for a long time.
Where were you born?
In Middletown, Indiana.
Okay. You were born at home?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
And I'll bet your mother was there.
Yes, she was a I hope.
Okay. Well, tell me about your mom. What was her name?
Well, her name was Icy, but she was just the opposite. She was a real warm person.
What was her maiden name?
Her maiden name, her full name was Icy Victoria Stanley.
Stanley, okay.
Yeah.
And King Peeples.
She was born in Summitville.
Okay. Yeah, what can you tell me about her? You say she was just the opposite of her name, right?
Just the opposite of her name. She is probably one of the most sweetest, nicest women you could ever meet. And everybody loved her. And nobody that I ever knowed of disliked her. I never knowed of anybody. Nobody ever had a crossword for her, and she never had a crossword for anybody.
And I hear she's a pretty good dancer.
Yes, she was. She was a good dancer. She still liked to dance. Passed 105 years old.
105.
In fact, I danced with her even after she was 106.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how old was she when she died?
106 and a half to the day.
Wow.
She passed away on the 18th day of March, 2000. And she was born in 1893 in September.
I bet she had some stories.
Well, yeah, she's had some, but she wouldn't tell you too many of them.
Yeah.
She just mainly liked to live for the day, and she was a good sport about everything. I never knowed of her, unlike me, I never knowed her to ever get mad or have a crossword or anything all my life.
Wow.
And I think my B could tell you the same thing.
Why?
That she just that type of person. And everybody liked her, and she just one in a million.
I hear about the parents of these fellows we interview, and I want to interview them so much because they sound like such interesting people. Now tell me about your dad. What's his name?
His name was Denny.
Denny? Okay.
And he had just Denny Peeples.
Yeah.
He didn't have a middle name.
What can you tell us about him?
Well, he was maybe, he was a jolly person most of the time, but he was more sincere, I guess, when you say that. When he done anything, he was more sincere about it, and I don't know, he just good. He liked to hunt and fish and things like that I never did get connected with myself, and I had a lot of good times with him.
Was he a farmer or?
No, he worked at Delco Remy for altogether. He worked there twice, 2 different times, and in fact, he was one of the first 5 men that ever worked at Delco Remy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, no kidding.
Yeah, and the guys, they wanted him to be the foreman, and he wouldn't do it.
Huh.
And he wouldn't said he didn't want to do that.
So he probably knew the Remy brothers then.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Did they ever tell you anything about
They
it?
hired him,
Wow.
Remy Brothers.
That's
They
amazing.
had a little shed out. I think it was over here on Columbus Avenue. I think on a little shed. I'm not saying
There's
that for sure, but I've heard him say.
There's a marker
But-
downtown where they're doing the renovation work
Mhm.
near the Y, and it said something about there being the first Remy Brothers set up operation. That's downtown on Meridian Street.
Maybe it was.
Yeah.
I know it was just a shed-like place
Yeah.
when they first started. I heard him tell about it. But I wasn't sure whether it was uptown or not, because it's been so many years ago that I heard him tell about it that I didn't remember. But I know it was just, he was one of the first 5, I knew that
Wow.
worked there.
Well, I never thought I'd stumble across that tonight.
Yeah.
That's a neat piece of history.
And he was, and he born in Middletown,
Okay.
and he used to drive a horse and buggy over here long before the interurban ever started. They used to be their transportation over here was that horse and buggy, and he drove people from Middletown to Anderson.
This
Back.
seems kind of odd. You take a horse and buggy to go work for an auto manufacturer, but
Yeah,
with those days there weren't too many automobiles.
I think he done that. I'm not saying, I don't know if it was before he started. I don't know. I imagine same time, because I don't remember what year he started to work for Delco.
Okay.
But it was a year they started up,
Right.
when they first started. But he was one, like I said, one of the first ones.
Did they ever tell you about the Remy brothers, what they were like, or
No,
said
he might have, but I don't remember it. I mean, of course, I'm the youngest in the family, and he lived to be 85,
wow,
and
nothing wrong with that.
he was a pretty tough guy. I mean,
Yeah.
and the Dr. Bowers, he died he had cancer when he was 72. He had a cancer and cancer of the bowel, and Dr. Bowers was his doctor. Dr. Bauer used to be here in town.
Right.
And Dr. Bauer told told her and I that he about the toughest old boy that he ever got a hold of. And said we asked him how he's going to make it, and he said he's going to make it fine. And he did.
That's great.
He lived 13 years after that.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That is pretty good.
And so that's about the most that I can tell you of him. I mean,
Do you have any idea who the other members of that first 5 were?
no, I've heard him. Have heard him say some of them names, but I wouldn't remember it now.
Yeah.
Been so long ago that. But
How about brothers?
anyway,
Go ahead.
he worked there 18 years at that time, and then he left and because he bought his uncle had a pool room over in Middletown.
Okay.
And he was going to retire, wanted to sell it, and so my dad bought it. And then he left Remy, he quit Remy's, and run a pool room for, I don't know how many years he was in it. And then he bought he sold it out to, a guy, I expect you've heard of him, because he was pretty well known here in Anderson later, Murray Templeton.
Okay.
And Murray bought the pool room off of Dad. And then he bought a grocery store over in Muncie. And that's when, in 1937, my brother, another brother of mine, he was 18 years old at the time. They bought the store, and people didn't get out of the house over there. It was the house that went with the store, you know, and they hadn't moved, and so they had to drive back and forth. And my brother, 18 years old, he drove the car. He drove Dad back and forth. And during the winter, that winter, 1937, they had an accident. A milk truck hit them and killed my brother. And Dad was pretty hurt, and he was in the hospital. He didn't even know it. He didn't even know my brother was dead for several weeks. And until he got out of the hospital. And after that, well, he went back to Remy's and worked another 12, 14 years.
Well, that's quite a gap.
Yeah.
That's quite a gap.
And he went back there and worked another 12, 14 years until he retired. I think he was 68 when he retired from there. Then he died at 85.
Okay. Now, I was going to ask about your brothers and sisters.
Well,
who are they, and what are their names, and what's
my oldest brother is named Kenny, and he lives in Dayton, Ohio. And he at one time worked at Delco Remy.
Okay.
But he quit there and left there, and he went to Dayton, and he worked at Leland Electric up there, and then he went to Delco. And that's where he retired from, was Delco. And he's still in Dayton, and he's 91 years old.
Wow.
And now he's the oldest one living. Now, I had a sister that was older than him who passed away, just been dead, let's see, 4 years now.
And what's her name?
Her name, well, it would be 5. She passed away in 98, Maxine.
Maxine.
Her name, last name McGovern.
Okay.
And she passed away then. She had worked at Guide Lamp for a few years, several years, and had a store, a confectionery. She had a confectionery years ago down on John Street, John and 11th.
Okay.
11th and John. And then the the oldest, she died at about 3 years old, and with double pneumonia.
Oh my! What was her name?
Her name was Juanita.
Juanita.
And then the next.
You remember anything about her?
Nothing. No, I wasn't born yet.
You wasn't born yet. Okay.
No. She was the third, the oldest.
Okay.
Maxine was oldest, and then Kenny, and Maxine was 88 when she passed away. So she's still living. She'd have been 93 now. Yeah. And Kenny's 91, he's still living. And then the next one was Juanita, and then Eleanor, she's still living. She lives in Terre Haute. And she's 88 now. She just passed her 88th birthday.
Wow.
And she still lives in Terre Haute. She's in a assisted living place up there now. Just went in it last week. Or let's see. Last week or this week, B?
Last week.
Last week. And then the oldest one was my brother Bob, and he passed away. He was 68 when he passed away.
Okay. Well, he was young.
He died of a heart attack.
Oh my.
And he retired from Delco Remy.
Yeah.
And then the next one was my sister Wanda, and she's still living. She lives in Florida. Lives in Melbourne. She lives in West Melbourne, and she's let's see, she's 86 now.
Well, you got some good genes in your family.
86. And then the next one was my brother, was Edsel. We called him Henry.
Yeah.
And he was 18 when he was killed in an automobile accident with Dad. And he would have been 84 now if he was living. He was just he liked 3 days of being 3 years older than I am. And then the next one is my sister Neoma, and she lives in Melbourne, Florida. And let's see, she's 82 now. Or will be 82 in February, I mean. That's what I mean, 82 in February. And then I'm 81. I mean 80, will be 81 in May.
So you're the youngest. You're the youngest of that group.
And then I had 2 brothers that were born after I was, and they both died of double pneumonia when they was both of them was about 2.5 years old when they died.
That'd be awful hard on your folks.
Yeah.
They lost, what, 4 children?
They lost, well, they lost 4 when they was young, from 18 down, yeah. And the rest of us, my brother Bob was 68 and he had his heart attack, and he was the next youngest one that died. And
Who were you close to in that group of kids?
the group, when I was growing up,
When you were growing up?
well, my sister Neoma and my brother Henry that died, killed.
I mean, you in a family that large, you tend to pair off with certain kids there. My wife's from a family of 5 kids, and and she's got a couple that she played with more than the others.
Yeah. Well, my brother, I mean, he was all close to me. Of course, my sister, she was just a year older, a little over a year older than I am. And we was close.
So you were about 14, 15 when he died.
I was 15.
15.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be awfully hard.
Yeah.
Especially since you kind of grew up with him and he was always kind of there.
Yeah. Yeah, I can. This scar I got on my head, I was 6 years old.
Ah.
And it was his sled that happened on, and he had a sled, and I didn't have one, and so the kids that had sleds, they parked them out, hung them, they stood them up out along the building in Middletown, and I'd taken a couple other times, a couple evenings, and we got out of school. See, the first and second grade got out about 20 minutes earlier than the rest of the kids did. So I'd go get his sled, and a neighbor boy with me. We'd go over and slide down Fifth Street Hill, see? And so that day, there was a big snow. It had been snowing, and there was a pretty good snow. And he told me, he said, now don't take my sled tonight. He said, so I told him I wouldn't, but I went around and got it, and we went down, me and Bob Best went down to the hill, and I slid down, and I mean, I went first, take a ride, and went down first, and down at the bottom of the hill was the Dr. Stamper. I don't know if you remember him or not. At one time, he was the anesthesiast at St. John's for years, Dr. Stamper. And then his son was a doctor here, in Anderson. And later on, his name was Bob Stamper. And anyway, I tried to turn the sled and it wouldn't turn. But he'd locked the guy. Locked the guy that was on. And I couldn't turn it. And I hit his car hit the differential and just laid my head wide open.
Oh, gee.
And I got up off the sled. I mean, I got off of the ground because the sled went on under the car went on. And, well, I guess it did. I always thought it did. It's one thing I never did really find out about. I mean, I suppose Bob later got it. But I got up off the ground and I guess I headed, started for home. And I was 6/10 of a mile from there, see, I mean, from right. From where that was, and right straight out 5th Street. And but Bob come running down the hill. He seen that I hit, and he seen I was hurt. When I got up, he seen that I was bleeding and blood pouring out of me. And he come running down the hill, and he grabbed me by the hand and said, "Come on!" And I went with him, and he took me right through Dr. Stamper's house. And they had his office was in the back of his house. And he had an entrance around at the back, see, but Bob took me right through their front door in their living room. We run through there, and they just had a brand new carpet.
Oh.
They laid there, and I was bleeding like a stuffed hog. And got in, Dr. Stamper come in there to me right away. I mean, and he took care of me and stitched my head up and everything. And he said that was a miracle. He said, because when a kid gets hurt, first thing they do is head for home. Mm-hmm. He said, and if there's any kids with them, they'll usually help them get home. And he said, how a kid ever 6 years old would think to bring another 6-year-old into a doctor.
Yeah.
He said it was a miracle.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said, because he said I couldn't have got halfway home. And he said I bled to death. He said,
wow.
I was bleeding. I was really. I can remember that. The blood pouring out of me, it just laid this whole side of my head open. And then, of course, the main part, that's where I hit, right there. And I've had that scar, of course, ever since I was 6 years old.
Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't kill you outright. It's hard to
it was wonderful. Hard-headed, I guess.
God wasn't done with you yet.
Yeah, no, he wasn't. I guess he ain't done with me yet.
Yeah.
I've still been took a lot of hard knocks since then.
Well, I don't expect the doctor's wife appreciated what you did to her carpet.
I never did hear anything about it. I mean, I never did hear from her. She never said nothing to me.
Occupational hazard.
I don't know if she said anything to Mom and them, if they'd have it cleaned or what, or bought them new carpet or anything. I never did know.
Yeah,
in fact, I never did think about asking.
It's a good thing he pulled you in there, because you wouldn't have made it home.
No, I wouldn't have.
No, you wouldn't have. No. I'm sure.
No.
Well, after he saved you, did he get mad at you for taking the sled?
No. He didn't say, he wasn't the one to save me. I mean, after Bob Best was the one, okay. He was another 6-year-old.
Okay.
and he was the one who saved me. And he's been dead now for years. Yeah.
Smart kid.
I knew she'd be around before it was over.
Star of the show.
Yeah, I'll leave him.
Well, I was going to ask you what you did for fun in Middletown when you were growing up, but I think you just told me.
Well,
It sounded like much fun.
that was one of the things. I played a lot of. I mean, we played a lot of basketball and baseball, and mostly baseball and basketball, and shoot marbles, and used to make. Back then, we made a lot of used inner tubes, and you cut the.
Oh, slingshots? Yeah.
Yeah, well, not slingshots. We made them rubber guns. I mean,
Okay.
Shoot rubber, and you'd cut the ring off, and cut an inner tube up, and you cut the ring off.
Yeah.
And then you'd stretch them. You'd make a handle. You'd nail a handle on the end of a broomstick or a long board, 1 by 1. I mean, 1 by 1.
Yeah.
Just get long. Some of them we made real long, and some of them we'd make them short, and some of them real short. You'd nail a little paddle on the end right here at the end, and then you'd take another one, and you put a little piece of wood there in between, and then you'd take a rubber and tie around it. And so when you hold it back here, it'd stretch that out, and then when you let go of it, it'd real tight, see?
Okay.
And it'd hold that rubber band, and you stretch that tube, an inner tube band, and stretch it down to the end of the stick. And then when you squeezed it up here, it released that rubber, they shoot.
Snappy pretty good.
Oh, yeah, and then they'd shoot pretty far. And we used to have guys, we've had as high as 20 guys, or maybe more, 20, 30 guys, and we get up and choose sides, and we'd have war. And we use them guns, and once you get hit with one of them, and then of course you was out.
You're out, huh?
And we played to them. One side had a guy left. And they'd be the winner of the war.
Well, it sounded like you had a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, we did. We had a
You
lot of
probably
fun.
had as much fun making the guns as you did playing with them.
Yeah. We used to, and some of them made some pretty long ones. And them long ones, when you release one of them, they'd go pretty far.
Yeah.
And they stung pretty much too.
Yeah, you were tough kids.
Yeah.
So
And we'd go swimming. We'd swim in the creek.
Okay.
We had swimming holes.
Yeah.
I remember 3 of them. We had 3 swimming holes. We had one out the Bouchons, and 2 different Bouchons over there was Otis Bouchon and Franklin Bouchon.
Okay.
They lived out on what's called Shenandoah Road now.
Right.
It used to be Middletown Road.
Yeah.
And go out them about a mile out. I think it was just a mile out, I think, to Otis Bouchon's, and wasn't quite that far to Franklin's. And we walk out there and go swimming, and then we had what we used to call Middle Fifth. The creek goes through there, the Sugar Creek goes right through there, and right the other side, there used to be the old railroad bridge that they tore down now and done away with it. I mean, because the railroad tracks has been done away with.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I know where you
And
mean.
they tore that old trestle, the old
Keep the
railroad
microphone.
trestle. They tore it down, and then of course the bridge is still there. Goes over the creek, just about a quarter of a mile up and off the road, about between 5th Street and 8th Street, about halfway between them. We had a place that, of course, all this was skinny dipping.
Yeah.
That was because mostly boys, and once in a while there's some girls went out there. And when they did, then you had to wear shorts.
Yeah.
When any girls went out there, because they got to wear, the girls got to where they went out there and they have parties and things out Busan. They got where, even families went out there sometimes swimming, and we always went skinny dipping unless there's people out there. We'd take bathing trunks along with us, but if there wasn't anybody there, we'd skinny dip.
That'd be a good place to do it.
Somebody was coming, you could see them coming up the road, well, we'd go get our trunks and put them on. But yeah, we had a lot of fun. We used to have all kinds of fun, and thrashing time, around then, we go out and help them some thrash.
Did they get together and go from farm to farm like some?
Yeah,
farmers did?
they did back then, yeah. But we didn't. We didn't live on a farm, see, so we didn't. But I knew a lot of them that farmed and went out there when they was thrashing and stuff.
Dad would tell me about some of the thrashing dinners they'd have, and he said the tables would just bow with all the food. There wasn't much left after the farmers got done. The kids were always last to eat.
Yeah. She'll fight. Her and me, they fight. They fight a lot.
Yeah.
It's not her and I don't fight much, but her and B does. They'll get her and get playing with her and gets rough, and you can't buy on that. But
so where'd you go to school?
I went to school at Middletown.
Middletown?
Yeah. I only went to through the 10th grade.
Yeah.
Went through the 10th grade, and then I went into I boxed for a while. I like to box, and I boxed in Golden Gloves up Dayton, Ohio.
Oh, okay.
I went and stayed with my brother for about a year up there, and worked at a supermarket, and done some boxing, like I said, and boxed Golden Gloves. And
Were you in Middletown school the whole time you were in school?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, went to
Good
Middletown.
school then.
Okay. And then I left there and come back and joined the CCC camp,
Okay.
and was over here at Frankton.
Civilian Conservation Corps.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
One of the relief programs of the Great
Yeah.
Depression.
Yeah.
Well, okay, tell me
Now,
how you folks did during the Great Depression.
Well, of course, my dad, of course, he had his pool, and he still had that. I mean, he was doing all right. And my brother, he'd went to work at Remy's, and he got laid off when he graduated and went to work, and then he got laid off, and then he went to work on the WPA.
Okay.
And of course, then like I said, he was working on the WPA, and I went into the CCC camp, and worked over here at Frankton, and stayed in there for about a year. I think I was in there, and after I got out of there, why, a short while after that, that was in 42. I was in there in 1940. I went in the CC camp, in the CCs.
What can you tell me about the CCC camp? I mean, where was it
Well,
located now?
in Frankton, they had a.
What? You weren't chewing on it.
No, I don't want her chewing on it either. She won't really chew on it.
Yeah.
She just bites at it.
Yeah.
She never chews anything.
Yeah, it's true on you.
Yeah. I'll call B and she'll beat you up. But,
Where was the CCC camp located?
I can't, I can't, it's right this side of the edge of Frankton,
Okay.
on this side of Frankton. And I can't tell you exactly just where that was over there, because I never really, stayed there and never went in Frankton right downtown, except I suppose all the time I was there, I never went up over there over once, because we always come over here to Anderson.
Right.
And whenever we get out, you didn't get out every day and every night, you know. I mean, on weekend we got out about every weekend. I think we'd always come to Anderson. Once in a while you get out during the week.
A little bit like the military then.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's a lot like military. You live like military. You had barracks. Yeah. We had barracks and had you had mess hall and everything. It's just like an army camp.
Yeah.
And you drilled and everything like that. And then we done a lot of boxing in there too. I mean, some of us did.
I wonder if they did some of that to kind of get you ready for the military.
It probably was, some of it. I mean, because it was, like I say, it was a lot of stuff, but the main thing was conservation, and then out west it was forestry. They done a lot of forestry work, see, and stuff like that, and we done irrigation for all the farmers through this section.
So most of those ditches out there,
those irrigation ditches. I didn't do many. I only worked out in the field. I think about a week altogether.
Oh, okay.
I went to mess hall.
All right.
That irrigation that was hard work. I didn't like digging them ditches, so I put in from mess hall and got into mess hall and worked in there and helped serve them and helped the cooks and I didn't do much of the cooking. I helped certain things, you know, and stuff like that.
Come right down to it, that's the most important part of the job.
Well, yeah, in a way,
get to eat.
They had good eats, so they had good eats all the time.
Yeah.
Of course, not as good as the Navy. Navy fed. That's the reason I went in the Navy. See, up in there went the Marines. After we got out of 3C camp, we went to work down in me and my cousin and two buddies. We went to work down in Charlestown, and there was that was the what's the paint company and
What the paint company they had there?
wait a minute. Yeah, I think they done painting and they done a lot of other stuff too. Made anyway, they was building the ammunition plants down there, down Charlestown. You know, Charlestown. They done all the construction. We done the construction of all ammunition. They had all the ammunition. You know,
Right.
The Charlestown, the depot. It wasn't the government depot. The government depot was in Jeffersonville.
Right.
And this is the Charlestown ammunition plant out there where kept all ammunition and stuff. And
Is that
had
down
a lot
near
of
Crane?
huh?
Is that down near Crane?
No, it's this side of Madison. It's in Charlestown. You know where Charlestown is, don't you?
Yeah, I'm trying to picture it. Is that on the river?
DuPont. So I was trying to think of.
Oh, yeah.
The
yeah.
DuPont plant down there, and we went down there and we went to work for the government, of course, on construction work, doing all that construction. They've been all in buildings and stuff for the powder plant down there, and we worked on construction, carpenter, and well, started out as carpenter helpers. We went down there and started out as, and we worked there, and we came, and when they started laying off down there, and we got laid off, why we came back up right after the war started. Short while after. Why we came back up, and we was one of my buddies and my cousin and I was going to join the Marines. We were on the way back down. Of course, I had met her down there, and I was going back down to see her, and my buddy, he'd met a girl. He knew a girl in Jeffersonville, and that he was fond of, and he was going back down to see her. And my cousin, he was just going along. He hadn't met somebody down there but he knew a couple girls down there. But anyway, Tom and I wanted to go down and see them. And before we left, and we stopped in Indianapolis on the way to Jeffersonville, and took examinations for the Marine Corps. Well, all three passed the examinations, but they asked, and I'd forgotten to take my CCC discharge with me, see, and of course I didn't really know they'd want them, and Bud and Tom both had theirs with them, and so they wouldn't. They told me that I'd have to come. They wanted me to come back to Anderson and get them. And I said, no, we was on the way to Jeffersonville, and I said I couldn't come back over here now. I said I can bring them back first next week. And they said, well, said that'd be all right. Said I could do that. Said they'd keep my papers there and everything, but said I wouldn't be able to go with them too, unless I come back and got my papers. I said, well, I can't get them now. So we went on to Jeffersonville, and when we got back, why, they got called right away. Went in the Marine Corps.
Smartest thing you ever did was forgetting them.
Hey, you know that. I mean, I always wanted to go to the Navy anyway, because Navy. My theory of going to the Navy was you always got a place to sleep and a meal on the table.
That's true.
Something to eat. And so I said that the Navy was for me, because I like to eat and I like a good place to sleep. So I went up and joined the Navy by myself. And of course, I met a couple good boys from Kentucky the day I took my examinations with the Navy, and went in. I took my examination, enlisted, and everything right there. See,
Do you remember their names, the boys from Kentucky?
Yeah, one of them name was Noah Leslie Vick.
Okay.
And the other one's name was Hayden. His last name was Hayden, but I can't tell you what his first name was. They were from different towns. They didn't even know each other. See, when us three just met each other there.
Did you stay with them?
I did through boot camp. We was in the same boot camp for four weeks. Is all we got in boot camp. and we was together there. And then we went into the, all got sent into, the way they chose the armed guard, the guys for the armed guard, it was the roughest deal there was. And of course we didn't know, we didn't know at the time. And and nobody wanted to volunteer for them. So they asked everybody, they said, we need volunteers for the armed guard. That's when they took everybody from the boot camp and finished them 4 weeks.
Okay.
And had several companies in there. And nobody volunteered, and they said, okay. So they went their way, you,
and you,
right on around. And me and Vic, we were both chosen and went to the gunnery school in Chicago, Foot around off Street over there. And we was together then through there and went to New Orleans.
Before you get too deep into the service, there's a couple things I want to catch up on. You said you did some boxing.
Yeah.
Before then. You remember any of the fights?
Yeah, I mostly fought this guys around from Dayton there, and remember one boy I had fought, and and he was, he was in pretty good. He was a good boxer. He was good. Named Charlie Mantia. And when I later fought in the Golden Gloves, of course, I was only a flyweight, and you couldn't, to think you're gonna make any money at it. Well, you couldn't do it.
But those wind up being some of the best fights, though.
Oh yeah,
Those
I
guys
know,
really
I
go
know,
at it.
I know that. Yeah.
Did you have any boxing heroes when you were growing up, or
Oh yeah,
sports
yeah. My favorite fighter of all time was how you ask me, Rocky Marciano.
Oh yeah,
To me, he was greatest of all of them.
yeah. Kind of get down that low
Yeah.
crouch, and he's pretty hard to hit.
And I liked, but of course I liked Dempsey. He was before my time, but I've got a picture. His bar, Jack Dempsey's bar, back in 43, 44, 43.
We had a fellow who sailed with him. Dempsey was the captain of the ship. And,
Yeah.
And he was on Dempsey's ship
Mm-hmm.
somewhere, I think near China or something. He was doing some work. But I believe he's in the Marine Corps or something.
Well, I met him. I met Jack Dempsey.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I shook hands with him, talked to him.
Yeah. What was your
Yeah.
impression of him when you met him?
Real nice. Nice guy. She met him too.
Ah.
We met him and Lefty Gomez.
Okay.
Same time. We met him in Canada. What's the name of it? Right across from Buffalo, across from the falls.
Toronto?
Toronto.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We went up there to the national meeting of the Eagles
Okay.
at one year. And
Or boyhood heroes and aviators or sports?
well, yeah, and no, I had an uncle who was an aviator in World War One.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he got killed
Gee.
in World War One. And I got a picture of him in there someplace. And
Red, how about Tyler?
huh?
Tyler Peeples, wasn't it?
Yeah, Tyler Peeples. He was my great great grandfather. He was a general no, he was a captain in the Army in the Civil War. And he was, they got a bridge named after him, Tyler Peoples Bridge, in someplace in Georgia.
Wow.
There's a bridge named after him.
Did you ever have a chance to meet him?
No.
I didn't know.
No, I didn't. Never met him.
As long as your family lives, I mean.
No. There's a lot about him down in Georgia.
Okay.
He's a well-known. He was a senator of Georgia, state of Georgia, and I don't know. The kids have got a lot on him. I mean, they've got a lot. I haven't. I didn't go in that much of studying, but all of our nephews and of course our oldest son and our nephews and them, they've got a lot. They run the family trees down, and they've got a lot on him.
Well, you've got quite a bit in your family. That's a
and
good bit of history.
But he's pretty well. He was pretty well known in that state down there. I mean, in the past, I mean, people now they might not know unless they read about it in the books or stuff, or about that bridge that's down there. I forget what town that's in. Do you remember?
Yeah, his horse shot out from under him. I remember that.
Yeah, they got we did a lot of them doing that during the Civil War. Yes. And but no, I've had quite. In sports, I've always been a big sports fan. Love basketball, baseball. Well, really, in baseball, one of my favorites, of course, was Roberto Clemente.
Yes.
He was one of my favorites.
On and off the field.
Yeah.
He was a hero.
Yeah.
He was.
Of course, I was a Pirate fan. I was always, back in, I used to always, anybody was on the bottom, and the Pittsburgh Pirates, for years, they was an also-ran, and then the Pittsburgh Steelers were also-rans, and somehow, so I got to where I wanted to see them win, I just, and later on, they both did. They both come to the top, and they got hated. They hated and I never could understand that. And it always got to me about some of the teams, that didn't do anything for years, and then they got to the top, and everybody hated them.
Yeah.
But a team like the Yankees and the Dodgers. There was a team. I hated Dodgers worse than I hated anybody. Any team in any field of athletics, the Brooklyn Dodgers, I hated the worst.
Yeah.
And another reason was not only that, because their fans are such poor sports.
Yeah.
And then when I got in the Navy, lo and behold, first crew I was on. First crew I went shipped out with, about half of them was from Brooklyn, New York. And what did I hear all the time we was going? We was over in Iran and Iraq and all over there and all that. And I was with them for 8 months, a little better than 8 months. So all I heard was Brooklyn Dodgers. And I never got so sick and tired of hearing about something as I did. And the Yankees, people just can't. They just cling on to them, you know, and they win and win and win and on and on. And I just never liked people that always seem to get the most of the benefits out of something. I mean, I like for other people.
Everybody get a chance.
Yeah, I like for other people to have a chance, and they had all the money. And then, of course, the Boston Red Sox. They was in the American League. They were my Boston Red Sox and Chicago White Sox.
Oh, yeah?
They were my favorites. Right. And of course, I love Ted Williams, and of course played Boston. And
Yeah, Ted Williams, good player. He was one of a kind. One of a kind.
And I don't know. I just a lot of people. Then they got after the Pirates and them got up there once. Oh, you know, people saying, they've been up there for a long time, so they win. Well, but they've been on the bottom so long that
I can't imagine the Cubs ever having a winning season.
No, I can't
That's the
either.
one
Of course,
team
the
that seems
Cubs.
to be consistent.
I like the Cubs, but they were never my favorites.
Yeah.
But I liked them. And I always liked Detroit teams too. I liked the Pistons and the Detroit Pistons and the Tigers. But they never in the Detroit Lions. I like them because I liked Leon Hart and some of them players they had, and see Vaughn. What was his first name? Vaughn. Greg Vaughn.
Greg Vaughn. I think that's
Quarterback. I thought he was the all-time greatest quarterback. But he played the same time Leon Hart did.
Yeah.
I think it. I don't. It sounds like his name, and yet it don't. But anyway, he was still he was the best quarterback I thought ever played the game.
Well, another thing I'm curious about. Where were you when you heard about Pearl Harbor?
Where was I?
Yeah.
I was over in me and my cousin I was talking about, Bud Campbell, my cousin. We were over in the backyard of my uncle's. Bud was living there with them. And we was out there playing pitch and catch. Had baseball. Was throwing back and forth, pitching, catching, you know. And Uncle John come out and said, we just declared war. I mean, Pearl Harbor had just been bombed. Yeah. And that's when we decided we were going to go.
What was your reaction to it? I mean, were you just angry and ready to go get them, or?
Yeah, ready to go.
Yeah.
I was ready to go right then.
Do you even know where Pearl Harbor was?
Not hardly.
Not most fellas didn't.
No.
Yeah.
Not distant. It was around Honolulu. I mean,
Yeah.
in Hawaiian Islands.
Yeah.
Did you wonder why we declared war on Germany instead of Japan?
Not really. No, because I think the reason was that they weren't quite prepared in a way to attack Japan yet.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't have they weren't set up just right. I mean, the Army and Navy and Marines weren't quite ready.
It was
And
a
they
very
was with
different kind of war. It was
Yeah.
spread out, and
Yeah.
it just,
Mhm.
at least the war in Europe, at least you had some idea how to fight the darn thing, because we'd been there in World War I, and
Yeah.
probably a little better equipped to do that.
Yeah, but we was ready. We was ready to go right then. I didn't want to be drafted.
Yeah.
And one reason I didn't want to be drafted, I didn't want to go in the Army. I really, right from the start, I wanted to go to the Navy.
You were set for the Navy.
Yeah. And I guess I always did think that really after I got in church, I really realized that the Lord had been watching over me all my life.
Now I have no CCC
And,
papers. That was one example. I thought that
Yeah.
when you said that.
And I've always felt that He's really been with me and took care of me, and I didn't realize it. But there comes a day that we all learn, and we know when something happens, we know that what's true and what's not, and we know who done it and who didn't and what for. I think. Well, no, I don't know. I don't know what for really, because I don't know. I always figured that I wasn't worth it, But
I'm curious about the armed guard. Okay, now what is the armed guard?
well,
I've heard of it, but I don't know much about it.
I'll get. I forgot about that.
That's all right.
Just a minute. Give me a
Can you
second.
put it on pause? Pause for a minute. He's going to get something.
I'll get something. Last year I was in service. I carried that with me.
Okay.
I was, and
Yeah, let's go ahead and start. You had
Oh.
some.
I had the song here. I want to show you the. Got it here somewhere. Oh, there's a picture I'll show you. That was the king, queen, or the prince and princess of Iran back at that time in '42.
So, okay, so this would actually be the Shah of Iran. Can you get that? This is the guy, the Shah that they overthrew.
I don't know what his name or what their names were, but that was the prince and princess at that time.
I'll bet you that is. Sure looks like him. Pahlavi, I believe, was the name. The last name. This was back in 42.
42 and 43.
Wow.
There.
I want to show you another one, Jack.
There was Jack Dempsey's bar.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you ever seen it or not.
Let's see if we get a turn around here. This is Jack Dempsey's bar. You talked about going there. I've heard about it, but I've never actually seen the place. I think I saw one picture that somebody took inside at a booth or something. Quite a place. I got one more
Oh,
here.
here it is. Here it is.
Just a picture he carried around with him. Now, I would carry that picture around anytime.
Yeah,
That is a nice looking picture.
yeah, I agree. That's a looker.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
I knew you would be. I knew. Because you are now.
Thank you, thanks. What?
Wow.
You
That's-
wanna
that's
read it?
Armed Guard song.
That's the Army Guard. You probably never heard of it. Most people haven't. I don't expect very few people ever heard it. But that was the Armed Guard song.
Okay.
What the Armed Guard was,
Let me focus on his eye again.
Okay.
I go out of focus to get all those pictures.
oh, I see.
Pick up the mic, okay?
The Armed Guard was the men of the Navy that sailed on the merchant ships and manned the guns.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
And we, that's all we done.
That's where I've heard it. Would you know Glenn Franklin? Lives over in Yorktown.
No.
He was on the
Was he in the Armed Guard?
He was too.
Well, I knew it. No, I was in a, John Tuttle. He's dead now. From Fortville. He was in one of my crews.
I'll be darned. Was that Mary Jo's husband, or
I don't know her name, Tuttle.
her name's Tuttle?
Could been.
Okay.
His name was John. He worked out at Delco Remy.
I'll be darned.
He's the same age I am.
Okay.
Just about. I mean, he might have been a year older, but
It'd be worth checking into.
You have a son named Steve?
I don't know. I saw him a couple times after we got out of service, but I don't know. I didn't know any of his family or any. He was just about wasn't much. Yeah, I had. Wait a minute. I don't know if I got a picture of him. Yeah,
What can you
I
tell
have.
us about John? Especially
Well-
anything from his service years.
Well, he I can't tell you too much about him, except he was a nice guy. There he is. That's him right there
Okay.
on the left.
Can you tell us who the others? On the left is John Tuttle. In the middle, I can't see it too well because I'm looking on the monitor here. Can you see it over on the monitor? Can you see who's who? Oops.
Can you see that? Come out looking.
Yeah, can you see over there?
Oh, okay. Oh, you mean there? Yeah. He's on the
John Tuttle's on the left.
face. Me looking at him. He's on the left side.
Okay.
And then, of course, the guy in the center, his name was Duran, but he was signalman, and that's me on the
That's you.
right.
On the right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now I was in a fun house.
Oh, you weren't,
That-
weren't in the brig, huh?
I was in Port Hueneme, California. Yeah.
Go ahead, focus on your eye again.
Let's go ahead and
Oh, okay.
go a little bit more of the story here.
Well, we were docked there in California, and we went in there, and it was out fooling around, and we just stopped in that place there where they took pictures, and and you know, they have them right there on the street.
Yeah.
And so we stopped there and took them.
Well, I'm curious. Can you sing the Armed Guard song? You know the tune of it?
Not really. I mean, it's been so long ago. It's something like that. Let's see. I'll see the Armed Guard. Let me just read it. I kind of read it kind of like a song. The Armed Guard are we of the Navy, the best fighting men on the sea. We're gentlemen who know no fear of any foe, and we sail to Argentina and Tripoli. The waves and the wind and the sky we adore. We're safely guard our ships to any shore. We're terrible men from Texas, Tennessee, or old Mizzou. We'll make the grade for Uncle Sam in any job we do. We're the Armed Guard of the Navy, the best fighting men on the sea. The best fighting men on the sea.
That's great. That's great.
That's the official Armed Guard song.
I'll be darned.
And of course, yeah, like I said, we know nothing's ever said about the Armed Guard since the war or anything. And the Armed Guard, whether you knew it or not, you can check it out. But during World War II, percentage-wise, lost more men than any other branch of service.
I believe that.
They did.
I believe that.
Because there were so many ships. People didn't realize from New Orleans to New York, between 50 to 100 mile out, was nothing but sunken ships, masts sticking up all up in the air.
Yeah.
You just see them.
When they asked for volunteers, did you know that? Did you
No.
know about the Armed Guard, or
No.
they just said we weren't people to go in the Armed Guard? You really didn't know what.
I didn't know what it was all about. I just heard that I had heard, most of us had heard from some of them that you don't want to go in the Armed Guard. 'Cause, well, it was the most dangerous place to go. Because there was too many submarines. There was too many German subs out.
Yeah, it's true.
And they were sinking them merchant ships right and left. And
Ones
once,
didn't fall apart on you.
yeah, well, tell me about that too. There was some that broken too, Liberty ships. I was on mostly Liberty ships. And we were on our way to Iran and Iraq. We were loaded. See, that ship was loaded with ammunition and supplies and different things, and we had aircraft and tanks. Now the tanks were set on the deck,
Yeah.
and they were bolted down with guy wires, and 1-inch cables, and an eyelet that was welded to the deck of the ship, and that's where they were held on there. And then they had big boxes, very big boxes. We'll have a whole plane in those boxes, in those big crates.
They crated them up. So,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And well, they were boxed, completely boxed. They weren't just crated; they was
Right.
completely boxed, so the weather couldn't get to them, see, and salt and stuff
Right.
couldn't get to them. Parts. And we was from the fan tail to the bow. The ship had planes and tanks. So
That's a heavy load.
we went through. Well, plus the holes were full.
Yeah.
And we got through Panama Canal. left there, we were exactly, took us 35 days to get from Panama to Cape Town, South Africa.
Wow. That's a long time.
Well-
lot of zigzagging or
No,
No?
storm.
a storm?
Yeah. See, we were scheduled to go through the straits,
Okay.
and the straits are they told I just knew it by what the merchant marine told that they were, it was rough to go through there during good times, you know, when the weather was good. It was still rough through the straits. So we were scheduled to go through there, but we hit this storm, and we made, they said, about 100 miles in a week.
Gee whiz.
We was going aft about as much as we was going forward. And we was going like this. We was going to roll and roll like this and this like this, see?
Yeah.
And how them Liberty ships, and none of them are broken too, but boy, I mean, they creaked. And we had to go around the Horn.
Yeah.
So that's the reason it took us so long to get over there. We was
That's
in
tough
that
sailing.
in that storm for about we was in the storm for almost we were better than a week.
Now, I heard that they had a lot of problems with them breaking in half, and then they put some kind of a stabilizer bar, reinforcement bars along the sides of the ship. Did you ever see any of those, or were you?
I know. Well, I don't know. I never noticed. I mean, I
Okay.
never paid that much attention.
Yeah, probably
Really, no. The only thing that, well, we really we didn't even think about it. I mean,
Yeah.
we didn't think anything about it. We just, of course, you didn't really. Well, you had time if you had plenty of time to think, but of course, during the storm, you didn't have much time to think because we didn't go to, well, see, there about 3.5 days. See, our quarters was back on the Fantail.
Okay.
That is part of us. Half of us was back on Fantail, and the other half of the crew was up midship.
Okay.
And all of us that was quarters back on the Fantail, we couldn't get, and the mess hall was midship. And see, they had the Merchant Marines, their mess hall was here, and they had a galley, little small galley, right in between, and then the gun crew's mess hall was on the other side,
Okay.
and we each had our own mess boys. I mean, they had a man that served them meals over there. The galley was across over the front in the hall there, and they were over, and then the officers' mess was right on down towards going towards the bow,
Okay.
and their mess was up there, and off to the right of you, and then they had their own mess board. In other words, there was 3 guys aboard the ship that would work, and they were mess boys, and what they done was serve meals, and then they washed dishes and stuff, I suppose, stuff like that on there. Well, I know they did, and then they helped stuff like that, cleaning and stuff. They cleaned the mess hall and kept them clean, and that's one thing we did. We had, just like home, I mean, we had a table, big long table, had 2 of them. I mean, long tables, like a bar, like something like like a breakfast bar, you know. Is about, and had 4 chairs, bolted down chairs, swung stool, you want to call them. They had backs to them and everything. They were chairs, And on each side, in other words, there was 16 of them altogether, see, because there was space to walk in between the tables. Well, he would, the mess hall, the mess boy would we had tablecloths, put tablecloths on there. He set the tables. We had a plate, had everybody's plate set, and your fork, knife, and spoon, just like you're going in a restaurant, sitting down to eat. And you had a menu, and you'd tell him what you wanted to eat. And you usually had two varieties, like maybe they'd have maybe a Swiss steak.
Wow.
And you have your choice which one you wanted, just
That's a
like
heck of
going
a
in a
deal.
restaurant. See, I mean, you order which meal you wanted.
Now
ordered
during
and sometimes you could get both of them if you wanted them, but I mean, that's where you went in there and you ordered. And that's boy.
your quarters were on the fantail. During a storm, you couldn't get to the galley, could
No,
you?
no,
You
we
were
couldn't get
isolated
to
back
mess
there.
hall. No, we went 3 days and a half. We didn't get nothing to eat.
Ooh.
Nope, we didn't get anything.
After that, did you take some food and keep it back in your quarters just in case
No,
that happened again, or you just
no. We just said, well, we had a refrigerator.
Yeah.
You see, and when there's stuff left over, like we'd go in there and we had a coffee maker there. And a coffee urn.
Yeah.
That was coffee in it all the time. And we'd go in there and get coffee, or you could make, and they had in this little, like I said, this little place, the little galley they had in between the mess halls there.
Right.
And we had cabinets in there and had hot chocolate in it, and then in the refrigerator you had milk, and as long as it lasted till they kept it frozen in the freezers. They kept milk for, we had it for quite a long time afterwards. We had milk to last for a pretty good while, but we finally weren't run out.
Yeah.
And, but they'd put quite a bit on, and it was the same on the other ships. I mean, on the merchant ships. See, we got everything, the merchants and the officers and us all got the same food.
Okay.
So one day, none of us guys liked orange marmalade. We just didn't in fact, I hated it back then. The orange marmalade they used to make, I hated it.
Yeah.
And so did all the rest of the guys. And we was getting it all the time, and we was opening up the porthole and throwing it out the porthole. And one day we asked our mess boy. His name, he was Clemente from? Where was he?
Dominican Republic.
Yeah, but the other one right there by that. Oh,
Haiti, Dominican Republican, Trinidad,
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. Yeah.
Tommy, our mess boy, is a Puerto Rican.
Okay.
Real nice guy. We told Tom, we said, Tommy, is this all they got? The only kind of jelly they got? And he said, well, he said, that's the only they give us. Said they had different kinds, said, but they give it all down to the officers. So we went down there and checked. Come find out they had it in the officers. So we went to our lieutenant, and see, we just had one gunnery officer. It was the only officer we had. And there's a lieutenant, usually a lieutenant. Sometimes they'd be from ensign from an ensign to a lieutenant JG, lieutenant, and we had one officer once that was a commander,
Okay.
and that was on a troop ship. And so we went in. This one was Lieutenant JG. We went into him and we told him, wanted to know how come they was getting. Yeah, he said, "You're not getting the same thing," and we said, "No." And so he went to the captain of the ship and told him, from then on, we ain't getting any more orange marmalade. We got the same jelly. We got grape jelly and everything else that they was getting. And so, of course, that's the way it's supposed to be. See, because the Navy they paid for all that stuff, all that food and stuff on those ships.
Okay. So the Merchant Marine was actually benefiting from the Navy.
Yeah.
With supplies, okay.
I suppose because I don't know those companies. I think fed them Merchant Marine pretty good.
Yeah.
And because they made good money. See, I was going to show you. See, the Merchant Marine, they were good to us to start with. Started out. I'm going to show you a picture here that taken in New York, and this guy took us. He took all the whole gun crew when we got back to States. That's him there. He took us all out to New York to a nightclub there, and they didn't allow them.
Not far enough away?
When we first started out,
You got it?
when wait till he gets done. First went into the armed guard. They Merchant Marine used to take, at the end of a trip, when we get back to the States, they'd take up a collection and divided it up among all the gun crew. Well, I don't know how it come about, but some politician, I suppose, didn't like, got wind of it and didn't like it, and said that we were getting paid more. The armed guard was getting paid more than the rest of the servicemen.
Oh, brother.
And so they stopped them from giving us, taking collections up and giving them to the crews.
Yeah.
Wouldn't let them give them to us anymore. So this guy he took it on his own, and he took us all out, took the whole crew that wanted to go,
Yeah.
and took us to this nightclub, and he paid the whole bill. Put the whole bill.
Wow. Pretty generous.
Yeah, he was. He was a good guy. I mean, but we had other. I expect though that some of the other guys put money in with that.
Yeah, could
Some of the other Merchant Marines, because he spent a lot of money that night.
What was his name? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember his name. His last. I don't remember his last name. He's a Puerto Rican.
Okay.
His name's Tommy,
Okay.
but I don't know what his last name was. And but he was good. He was, like I say, he was a good guy.
Let's back up a little bit and kind of follow the path here. You said you went to New Orleans
Yeah.
for some training there, and
Well, first I went to gunnery school.
okay, and where was
I
that?
went 4 weeks training. That's all they give you then.
Okay.
Boot camp. Then they send you to a school.
And this would have been when?
1942,
42.
and in March of 1942.
Okay.
And then went into gunnery school, foot of Randolph School, foot of Randolph Street in Chicago, and spent 4 weeks there, and then went to New Orleans, the Armed Guard Center. They only had three Armed Guard centers. There's one in New Orleans, Brooklyn, and Treasure Island.
Okay. I think that's where
Yeah.
Glenn went. Yeah. Okay.
And so I mean, I was all three of them. I mean, I've been in all
really?
three of them. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was and I got I've got a horse story I was going to show you that I got from the. Wait a minute, it's not this.
What were some of the things they taught you in the
But-
Army Guard school?
In the armed guard school,
Yeah.
gunnery,
Okay.
you learned. I've got all my test papers in there. You had firing range, and it taught you how to break down. It taught you all how to take a gun, break it down, all the parts, how to put it back together. You tore them down, put them back together, learned every part name, and then you went to firing range, learned how to shoot them. And I hated guns. Never liked a gun. Never owned but one in my life.
Yeah.
And I only owned it a couple of days. And my uncle gave it to me. There's a rifle he'd had, and he gave it to me. And my older brother took it and traded it off for a sawed-off shotgun, and then tore it up. And anyway, I hated guns. Never liked them. I never liked to hunt or anything. I just hated guns. And but I learned all about them. And
What kind of weapons did you use on board the ship?
we carried Colt 45
Okay.
automatic.
Now, in your station.
But on the board of the ship, for big guns, I mean, we carried them on when we was on watch and different things like that. We carried a Colt 45 automatic. And in that one picture you saw of me there on where the date trees and stuff was, that's what I had on then. And they, but we had, when we started out, now the first ship I was on was a tanker.
Ah.
And loaded gasoline. And we Gulf Prince.
Okay.
And we had on it, that's the kind of protection we had, which wasn't very much,
Not much.
was we had a 250 caliber machine guns on the bridge.
Yeah.
And two 30 caliber machine guns on the aft, that just right forward of the fantail, piece of the fantail, and and then two 30 caliber machine guns forward, just aft of the bow.
Well, I wouldn't do much damage to somebody trying to attack you, would it?
Well, no, and that's what you had to fight submarines and stuff like that with to start out with in the armed guard. That's the reason there's so many of them sunk.
Right.
Well, then later, in sometime in '43, in early '43, they started putting on. They'd take all the ships in, merchant ships in as they come back from overseas. Brought them in. They take them in into the dry port and shipyards.
Yeah.
And they put on 5-inch 38s and 40 millimeter machine guns. They put them on in place of the 30 millimeter.
Right.
They put 40s on and 5-inch 38s, and on I forgot to tell you on the aft on the Fandale. See, we had a 5-inch 5-inch bag and powder machine gun
Okay.
cannon. You had a bag and powder. We had to. You took one guy slapped a powder in it, big bag of powder went in there, and then another guy used a ramrod, pushed it up, and then you put a detonator in the next to the breech in the I can't think of the name of them now. It's closed.
Yeah, okay. And what, breach or
Well, it closed the breech, and it closed, and you had a detonator you put in there. See, and you closed it. You closed the breech, and snap it, lock it,
yeah.
and then you fired it. See, so when you trigger, you hit that, and it hit that detonator, and it fired it. It fired it off, fired it. That bag and powder, then fired and it went. You stuck it in from the front.
It's almost
The shell went
in.
in. The shell went in, and then it was about like that. About what they had. Well, World War One. That's what they had.
Well,
same
that's true,
thing.
wouldn't
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what we had on there on the first ship we went on a cruise.
I would have to think that the ship you would be most afraid of sailing on would be a tanker.
Oh yeah.
Those things went up.
But
Boy,
well, I'll tell you. See, there's another time the Lord's with me. We left New Orleans, and we come out of New Orleans, and we went up to up around Port Hatteras,
Hatteras.
North Carolina,
Okay.
and we went in there. They took us into dry dock, and that's on that tanker. They was going to do some repairs and put on and change the guns and stuff on it.
Right.
Well, while we were there, they said, well, there wasn't nothing we could do. It was going to take 30 days to get that ship done, and they just said, well, they just give us port director leave. See, it wasn't a regular leave; it just port director leave. And well, there was only 6 of us, or seven of us, because counting Sigelman. And at that time, we were all seamen. Now, the guy that was the gun captain, and we were the same gun, the same bunch that had went through. When we got to New Orleans, they put you off in a group, made a team, and we were the team that was together there and went out on this ship. They put on the ship, and the guy that was acting, well, he was supposed to have gotten an ensign rating when he went in, because he was a graduate of Notre Dame.
Oh, okay.
And he was supposed to have got a commission when he come in, but they told him, I guess he was in a hurry, gave him through school or something, and
Right.
and they told him he'd get his commission after he got in. So anyway, his name was Abbott, and I was the leader. I was the first acting as coxswain, and he was acting as lieutenant. but he was, neither one of us was both just seamen. And so and he went over and he got the leave for us, see. And he got this port director leave. So we figured, and he come back and he says, well, he says, we'll go, we're going to get 15 days, he said it'd be 15 days, but we're going to take 7 days each. We just split it 7 days each. Half of us, he give me 2 other guys, and then he had 2 stayed there. No, I'll take that back. He didn't, Danny, the signalman, stayed there with him. He gave us guys, told us go ahead and take the first 6 days, and him and Danny would stay there on the ship. So, and Danny, he was signalman, he was still seaman too at the time because he didn't have his rating yet. So, we went in there and we was getting ready to leave. We got talking. We thought, well, now what he's going to do, he's going to leave, and he's going to take that full time, and then he's come back. He'll come back when we do.
Yeah.
So we just decided, well, what we do, we just go ahead and stay a couple days, 2 or 3 days over, and then we'd come back, a couple days ahead, we'd get back before he did. It backfired. See, he got back and say, he did stay a couple days over, but he got back just a few hours before any of us got back.
Beat you to it, huh?
He got back just a few hours. And he went and turned us in. And Danny, the signalman, of course, he played it wise. He waited, and then he left halfway.
Yeah.
And there wasn't nobody there on the ship, so he took the guns. He had 4 45s. He took them all home with him, afraid they'd get stolen or something on board. There was all them guys on there. And he took them home with him, but he brought them all back. And but Abbott turned us in, and we all got summary court-martialed, sent to Brooklyn, New York,
Uh-oh.
to the Armed Guard Center.
Yeah.
And we was up there for several weeks until they finally didn't do nothing to us. We just stayed there and went through the summary, and finally they let us. Didn't do nothing to us. But it was just the idea. But we got off that tanker.
Yeah.
And we didn't have to go ride that tanker. And I got on the ship that I went. That's when I went to Iran. Each one of us, none of us got to go back out together.
Okay.
They wouldn't let us go back out together, but all they done was overleave, and really we didn't do anything. It wasn't, of course, we could have took all the time anyway, because there was nothing to do there.
Yeah.
There wasn't nothing for us to do. And we should have been given the whole time anyway to start with.
Kind of wonder what happened to the tanker.
Well, one boy never did come back until late. Oh, he didn't come back for a long time. He came back in. He come back, and he came in up there when we were just a few days before the rest of us left up there at the Brooklyn Armed Guard Center. And he came in up there. he lived in Kentucky somewhere. He got down in Kentucky and he didn't want to leave, I guess, at all. He didn't want to come back. So I don't know whatever happened to him, but the other guys, I never saw any of the rest of them either after that. Like I said, I went out on this Nesmith.
Now that was a Liberty ship?
Yeah.
Okay. Headed for South Africa.
Yeah.
When did it start getting stormy?
We're headed for Iran, Iraq.
Oh, okay, Iran, Iraq. When did it start getting stormy? Was it on the way over, or as you got
On the way
closer,
over.
or-
On the way over.
So you had it rough all the way.
Yeah, after we left Panama, we just left Panama, probably maybe a few days out from Panama.
It has to be a pretty frightening experience to be
It was.
on the ocean like that.
It was.
Big storm.
And you couldn't, and then, well, I didn't tell you, I didn't finish telling you a while ago, all that, when we got there, all the tanks and stuff, it broke, that storm broke all them cables. Our deck was clean.
Wow.
We lost all of it. All that went in the ocean. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, when you said they were 1-inch cables, I got to thinking, yeah, that's going to break loose, and
Yeah.
in a bad storm, you'll have a tank floating all over the deck, crashing into things.
It just tore up. I mean, when we first started in, that storm first started, you had to hold on to something then to get up there to mess hall.
Right.
You had to grab a hold of a cable or one of the boxes or something, get a good hold on it in order to get in front of it, side of it, and sometime while the way, and get down, crawl a little piece, and get back and forth. We only got up there and back that one day. I mean, couple meals that first day, and then we went 3 days and a half. We didn't get any. We couldn't get out. It just we had, of course, another bad thing about it, you had to keep portholes, the covers closed, and you had to keep all your forecastles closed, and
Probably get pretty stuffy
it was
down
just,
there. Probably get pretty stuffy in there.
Oh yeah, and you just really, I mean, you just tied up back there together, and of course we could get to the showers and stuff, because all that was we were all closed in back there. It just like just like one big compartment. Only your as you come in, your doors that latch there, you come in, there's like a big hallway there, and there was a forecastle over here on this side, and then there's a big room with several bunks in it, and then another forecastle over here, and then the head was in off of the big forecastle, and shower, sink, everything. We had water, but we didn't have nothing to eat.
Now, during that time, the Germans and Italians probably owned the Mediterranean pretty much, and it was hard to get stuff in and out the Mediterranean, I would think, at that part of the war. So
Yeah.
you pretty much had to go around Africa to get supplies
Yeah.
up to those guys, because the British owned the Suez Canal and controlled that part of it.
Yeah. We had to go around. See, that's one reason it's going through the straits, because it'd knock off. I don't know how much. I didn't know enough about navigation to know that.
Yeah.
But I know they said it'd knock off a good bit of time.
Yeah.
And so when
You
you had to
could
go
get the
on
same.
around the horn, why it made it a little longer. But I don't know, after we got to Cape Town, we weren't, it's not too far from Cape Town on to Iran.
Right. What about the Indian Ocean? Was it pretty
Oh,
choppy and stormy?
Indian Ocean is beautiful.
Was it?
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's the best. It's much calmer.
It sounds like you were in this horrible storm, and it got worse as you went around the Cape, and then it just got really nice after that.
Yeah, it got good after we got. Well, the storm got better before we got into Cape Town. It got better. The storm had gotten better before we got in there. It had let up, because it wasn't too bad at all when we got into there. But the Indian Ocean, it's beautiful. I mean,
Was there very much of a threat in the Indian Ocean? I know the German U-boats patrolled
see,
the Atlantic
yeah.
and got into the Gulf of
See,
Mexico.
we were scheduled when we left Iran. We were scheduled to go to Australia. Our ship was,
Okay.
but it was so hot in the battle, not heat.
Right.
It was so hot in India, around India, that they canceled our trips to Australia.
Okay.
We were going there to pick up something. I don't remember now what they said it was. We was supposed to go there and load up and come back to the States. But we went, instead we came back to Dutch Guiana and loaded up with bauxite
Okay.
and then come on back to States.
What was the bauxite used for?
I don't really know. I know it's a stinking powder form of stuff. It really stank, and I don't know. I've heard them say they used it to make something with, but all I know is bauxite.
Yeah.
And loaded our whole ship with the holes. And
Once you got it loaded, could you still smell it, or was it pretty sealed at that point?
You smell it for a while, and I think you could still get some odor of it. I know it was kind of a reddish dust-like
Okay.
stuff, and that's about all I can remember about it. The whole lot of that stuff I just never stayed with me, and I just never remembered a lot what it.
So where'd you take the bauxite from there?
It came back to New York. Let's see. I came into New York.
So it was coming back to America for
Yeah.
manufacture. It wasn't something that they used.
No,
directly
it
with
came. Came back to came into New York. I was trying to think where it came into. So I left. No, must come back into New Orleans, because I shipped back out of New Orleans.
Okay.
Because I got leave and came home, and that's when we got married.
Yeah.
Come home and we got married, and went back to New Orleans and shipped out. So we came back into New Orleans, not New. We came back when we come back from off the AAP, and we came back to New York, and that was lost the best officer I ever had then.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's the story there?
Well, we hadn't had when we got back, we went to England and we come back, and we was going under a year. And our lieutenant, his name was Wetzel. And he was he owned 3 newspapers. He was an editor, a newspaper editor, and he owned 3 newspapers in West Virginia. But he was a swell guy. He was the best guy you never want to meet anybody better than he was. And I was the coxswain. The coxswain was the leading petty officer. He was like, you were really an officer. I mean, doing officer's duties. Because your lieutenant, he was a full lieutenant, and later made lieutenant commander after I seen him afterwards. After that, and he'd made lieutenant commander, but he was a big cut up, and when we was over in London, he come in one day. Well, and I was in my bunk sleep, and he came into my bunk. He took his time, and he took a boat hook, long boat hook, and he took a chicken's foot, and he tied them to them leaders of each one of them chicken's feet, and he tied strings to them, and then he took them strings and he took them clear back into that boat hook, and he throwed a sheet over that whole thing, and he come in there in my bunk, and he took it and he put it down my face, and he pulled them strings, and then going like that on my face, It woke me up. And that sheet and that long thing and thing sticking out there, and I jumped up out of the bed, and then I seen him, and I said, I'll get you. So the next day or two after that, he was going to the officers' club there in London to an officers' meeting. The dinner and meeting, and he was sitting in there in our mess hall. He'd eat with us most of the time. He didn't eat up there with the ship's officers and stuff. He'd come back there and eat with us. And he sat in there, and he was sitting in there eating, all cleaned up, and had his uniform on and everything. And he was eating some kind of sandwich or something. And he fixed it up and got out of the galley, and he was just sitting in there eating it. And I seen him sitting in there, and I run in and got a pair of scissors, and I stuck them down behind me, and I'm not commanding. I said, where you going, Lieutenant? And he said, I got to go to the officers' meeting over here at the officers' club. To dinner and a meeting, and he was eating that sandwich before he left. So I walked over, snuck over, just walked over behind him, kind of looked like I was going to go around over there and sit down or something. And I stretched around and pulled his tie out, and then took him scissors and whacked his tie off right there. he just laughed and laughed. And then he went in and gave him another tie and put on. But he didn't. I mean, that's the kind of guy he was. So. Now you think of what most officers would have done.
Oh, they'd have hung you for that.
Somebody, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of guy he was, and he was real good. But we come back from England and come back to New York, and he didn't have enough time. He thought we was all going to get leaves, see, because we all of us on the crew had over a year since we had been on leave. And he went in there, and they said he didn't have his year in, and they wouldn't let him go. And he come back, and he told us, and he cried like a baby. I mean, he bawled because he had to get off the ship. I mean, he couldn't go on leave with us. He's staying on the ship and getting a new crew. But he wanted to get off and go with that, go on leave, and then all of us go back and get a new ship together. And didn't happen. But that's the kind of guy he was. He was a peach.
We hate to lose the good ones.
Oh yeah, yeah. 'Cause,
Now, did your crew pretty much stay together? I mean, they broke you up after you pulled that little stunt there, and
that crew
they sent you to Brooklyn.
He didn't. He's the one that got when we come back. He went with another crew on another ship. Okay. And that ship stayed there until after we got back, and we got a new officer. We got a 90-day one. When the crew got back from leave, I was home. Of course, I got married, and I was already there. I said, we got a new ensign, gunnery officer, and said he wanted to see you as soon as you get back. As soon as you got back, they said, did you know that he wanted to see you up in his office?
Yeah.
So his office up midship, and hung up there, and I said, you want to see me? And he said, is you the coxswain? I said, yeah. He said, well, he said, sit down. He said, I want to talk to you. He said, I was looking around. He said, I'm the new ensign and new gunnery officer aboard. And he said, I've just got out of school. Said, I've never been out to sea or anything before. And he said, I've got a lot to learn, so he said, I'm going to be expecting a lot from you. I said, well, I help you all can. He says, well, he said, I was looking around, he said, I don't see any of the gear that the Navy gives the gun crews. He said, do you know what happened to it or anything? I said, well, yeah. I said, I can tell you what happened to it. I said, playing cards, things like that to give us, I said, they get wore out. I said, you play a lot of cards with them, and they get tore up and they get lost. I said, you get in a little bit of rough sea, and I think a lot of things get lost. And I said, in the games they give us, I said, the pieces get lost and wore out. And I said, time they go around, I said, the books, the magazines, I said, they get tore up. Guys, I said, guys get cutting up, and a lot of times they throw them at each other, and they get cut up and different things. And I said, and then we trade books with the Merchant Marine. And I said, a lot of the different things we just don't have anymore. I said, and I said, records get broke, and the machines, record players, they get tore up. I said, they get banged up and this and that. And I tell him things that happen. I said, most of that still, I said, they're good for one trip and they're not any good anymore.
Yeah.
He says, well, he said, this is going to be different.
Oh, boy.
He said, now, he said, I'm going to get all new recreation gear. and all new stuff. And he said everything that they give the crew, he said, I'm going over and get all new stuff. And he said, I'm going to put you in charge of all of it. I said, now wait a minute. I said, you mean if that stuff gets tore up, you're going to hold me responsible for it? And he said, yes. He said, you'll be held responsible for all of it. I said, no. I said, I don't like that. I said, I don't like that at all. And he said, another thing, he said, he said, the magazines and books you get, he said, they belong to the Navy men. He said, they don't belong to Merchant Marines. He said, they're for the men, the crew. I said, you can't do that. I said, them guys are buddies. I said, they're buddies of ours. I said, we're like brothers when we go out here. I said, we're all one crew. We're not just a Navy gun crew. I said, we're all one crew. I said, they sail the ship and we man the guns. And I said, but we're all one. And I said, and if we get in trouble, they're our buddies. They come and help us. I said, they help pass ammunition and all that and help man the guns. And I said, we train them. We train them to help, learn how to help. And he said, well, the books were, all this stuff is for the crew, not for them. And he said, that's the way it'll be. And he says, and you'll be in charge of it and held responsible for it. We had it out, but his orders, they were his orders. He was it. He was the boss. I mean, you know. So we left there. And we loaded up, and we went partly. Put on some stuff, and then we went down to Norfolk. Got to Norfolk. We was gonna put on more stuff there. We was gonna be there for a couple weeks. So we just got back off of leave all this, but he said, I'm going in and get us all port director leads. He said, and said we'll take half the crew at a time. He said, you can go with the first half, take half the crew, and you can go with them, and then when you come back, I'll go with the second half, and we'll go for 6 days. 6 days apiece. Okay. Well, I left, I come back, all my half, and we all come back. Well, the next day, they left. I caught me. I knew one thing. I've been one of the first things I ever learned in the Navy. You wanted your tonsils taken out, they're ready to take them out. I mean, they'd take them out. So I called a boat, went over to the end of the sick bay in Norfolk, went in sick bay over there. Went in and seen the doctor. I told him, I said, well, I've seen the nurse first after they signed me in. Yeah. Told me I wanted to see the doctor. I said, my throat, asked me, oh, is mine? I said, my throat's sore. I said, it gets so sore. I said, I can't hardly talk at times. I said, and I just can't stand it. Doctor went to the doctor and told him, he asked me, what's mine? And I told him, I said, my throat's sore. I said, I don't know what's the matter. I said, but I just can't stand it any longer. And he said, oh, let me look. And he looked and he said, I said, your throat's real red. I said, what is it? He says, it's just tonsils. I said, well, what you gonna do? He said, well, he said, they gotta come out. He said, so, he said, he said, well, you wait here a minute. He said, I'll be back. And he went out and he was going a little while. He come back. He come 15 minutes or something like that. He come back. He said, well, I said, I see he asked me first, he'd asked me what ship I was on and everything, and I told him what ship I was on. And he come back and he says, well, I said, I understand your ship's leaving and within a couple of weeks. And he said, we took your tonsils out now. He said, you're going to have to be in here at least 30 days. I said, well, I have to. I said, that's all right. He said, now, you sure? He said, you want them taken? I said, no, we can take them out now. I said, but you have to get off, we'll have to take you off the ship. And he said, but you can wait. He said, you can wait and get them taken out when you come back. I said, Doc, I said, I don't think I can stand that long. And he said, well, he said, okay. He said, we'll admit you to the hospital. He said, I said, well, I can't get out. I said, my officer won't, he's on leave right now and he won't be back. He said, well, he said, we'll make papers out and we'll send them to him when he gets back. He said, so he said, you get packed, get your gear all ready and everything for us, and we'll come out and get you and bring the papers and give him, and we'll give him what he needs. And I said, okay. I did hate to leave the country. Oh, them boys was good. They was good buddies. But I knew that was too much responsibility for me. I mean, I didn't want it. And they would all hated me before.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they wouldn't have been.
I'd have been hated.
That.
I'd have been hated by them and the Merchant Marine and everybody. I'd been hated by everybody but him. And I was going to be doing his dirty work. Mm-hmm. And I said, no, I wasn't going to do it. And I, just like I said, I knew. And they come in, very handy. The Lord told me. I guess. And that's what I done. When they come in there and they took him up on papers, and he called me up there. He wanted to see me up there. I went up there. He said, you can't do this. I said, what? He said, you can't get off the ship. He said, I'm going to see to. I said, look, this is already done.
Yeah.
He said, he said, I'll get a coxswain that's never been out to sea, probably. He said, then what I do? I said, well, you just have to do that. I can't tell you how, because I'm not going to be with you. I said, that's your business. I said, but I'll tell you, I said, this is Norfolk, and they got plenty salty old coxswains over there in Norfolk. But I said, I don't know if there's any of them in the armed guard or not. So I can't tell you who you get or anything else. I just know that I couldn't make this trip with you, and I wasn't going to do it. And I said, I have to have my tonsils taken out, and I'm going to have them taken out. And I said, boat's down there waiting on me. And I said, my gear's packed, it's on the boat. And I said, I'll see you, maybe, someday. And I left.
Might have saved his life, too. You probably would have thrown him overboard.
No, I wouldn't have done that. I couldn't have done that. That's something I couldn't. I could never. I've been mad enough to kill somebody sometime, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't. That's one thing I could have never done. I don't know. I suppose if I had a gun on me, like I said, I never liked guns. And it'd have been hard if I'd have killed him. I had to stab him or something if I'd come up with somebody.
Yeah.
But I don't think I could have done that even. I don't think I could ever kill anybody. It just wasn't my...
I think I'd at least got him close to the rail.
Yeah.
Let nature take its course.
Well, it has happened out there.
Yeah.
It had happened. But
ever happened to any of the crew that you were with?
No, never had.
And did you come close to any submarines or any?
Oh yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, we were leaving to go to New York. We started out in convoy. We was in convoy, and we wasn't 100 miles out, and we had, I don't know, about 30 ships, maybe better, convoy. 30, 35 ships, something like that. Between 30 and 40 ships in our convoy. We started, and we hit the subs, and had a little, we had a Honduran freighter right beside us that was sunk.
Oh, gee.
Sunk. And there was about three or four more ships in the convoy that was sunk.
Was there any
But-
hope for those fellows? I mean, when the ship goes down, I mean, even if you get into a lifeboat, they didn't stop for you, did they?
No, if they could get close enough, if they got in the boat and got close enough to you, they'd take them aboard.
Right.
Some of them got on the ship, but there wasn't nobody on that freighter beside us, that Honduran freighter. There was nobody even in the water that we knew of. I mean, we didn't see anybody. We didn't get a chance to take anybody, but there was some off of this, I think a couple of the other ships that got off and got aboard. Some of them got saved and they got on ships. But we didn't go by. The convoy went on. And we went on to England and got to Liverpool. But no, I don't know. There was nobody, because we didn't see nobody in the water. We didn't see nobody at all. And we couldn't, the thing about it, we couldn't, that close to shore, we couldn't fire anything without orders from the destroyers. See, all we had was, I don't even remember how many destroyers and sub-chasers was with us. They took us out. See, they take you out, I don't know, it was 150, 200 mile, or a little over 100 mile anyway. I don't know where they went 200 mile, and I don't think they did. But they were Coast Guard, mostly, usually.
Okay.
Coast Guard take you out that far, and then they turn around and come back, and they leave you, and you're on your own.
Oh, so you didn't have any escort?
No, not the rest of the way.
Just the convoy? And
Convoy out to that far. Well, we stayed together, but we didn't have an escort. Well, I take it back. There's we had one destroyer, I think, and one sub-chaser that stayed, I think, that stayed with us, that patrolled on out. They weren't right with us, but they patrolled out. We seen them a time or two, I think, maybe before we got there. But that's all. That's all we had. And that was mostly just for an alert. They were to alert us if anything happened. See, we were on our own. Then we could fire if we wanted to. But long as they were with the convoy, we weren't allowed to fire or anything unless they give us orders.
I'll be darned. So if a sub pops up right next to you, you can't do anything until you get orders from the...
Nope. Now, it seemed like, and we was in Okinawa, same thing. Those planes come in, suicide planes.
Kamikazes?
They come in, see, and a bunch of them come in while we were there. We was in Brown Bay while we was getting ship unloaded. And our ensign had an ensign on that ship, and he went over on shore, had some business to take care of, and he was gone when the raid happened. And these planes come over, and this one, we were loaded with dynamite and supplies and stuff. And we weren't even half unloaded yet. And so when he's gone, well, I had to go up midship and take his place. See? And I couldn't do anything till they announced over. They had big loud speakers over on the shore.
Right.
and they announced, and you could hear them all over the bays around. And they announced the raid suicide planes attack. Well, I had the headphones on, had all the men mounted, guns mounted, and when we seen this plane, this one that we'd see several, a bunch of them all around. This one was coming. He was coming right at us. I should say my prayers and calling out the range at the same time, because I knew he was going us. I don't know who hit him, because there's firing was going on all over the island, everywhere.
Yeah, in a case like
And
that,
all them planes.
in a case like that, you were allowed to go ahead and just fire at will whenever you saw
Yeah,
them coming at you.
after allowed to fire.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were firing, and like I said, I don't know who hit him. Somebody hit him, because there was a, right off our starboard side, I don't know how far, it wasn't too far off. I mean, there was a big LST. There was an LST sitting over there that was unloaded, and he was sitting up pretty high, and there was some personnel on it. I don't know how many. But in that plane, it just looked like he was just ready to hit us. And that plane went like this. It circled, and you knew he'd lost control of the plane.
Right.
It just circled like that, and went over that way like that, and went right in the side of that 40 millimeter gun turret on that LSD. They said it killed. There's three or six guys killed on that LSD. I don't know, but it just tore the whole side out of that thing, and we were just that far from that thing hitting us, and if he'd hit us,
Oh, you'd have gone up.
we was gone.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, we was exploded. There's nothing left. Our ship wouldn't have been nothing left of it.
Yeah.
But I just said that the Lord was
He was sure watching for you. That's okay. That's all right. That tells as much of a story as words do a lot of times.
that's this it's like reliving.
I heard that's probably the thing that most Navy men feared were those suicide planes more than anything else they threw at us.
Yeah, they knew they was going to die.
Yeah.
But they intended to take a lot of Americans with them when they did. But it's just I guess that's about the main time in service that I'd break down like that.
No shame.
then I got back from there, of course. I went to I guess I didn't know there was anything. I didn't know there was anything the matter with me. I mean, I guess it caused me to have battle fatigue, and just one incident like that. I mean, and I was taken off the ship when I got back.
How old
Put
were
in
you
the
at the
hospital.
time?
Huh?
How old were you at the time?
Let's see. Huh? Yeah, 24. Probably, yeah. Well, that was in 43. But no, that was in 44. Because that was long close to the end of things. That was one of the last places they had with Japan was Okinawa. That was one of the last battles. And then that was after the big. That was on the end of it. I mean, when they kept bringing over those suicide planes over. But
Did you say you met somebody at Okinawa?
yeah, my uncle.
Met your uncle in Okinawa?
Yeah,
And what was his situation? Why was he in there?
he was in the army.
in the army?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I was gonna tell you that was a comical situation. I mean, well, we thought it wasn't. Cause not to them it wasn't comical, cause they hadn't had nothing but I started telling you about they hadn't had anything K rations for over a year and a half since they'd had anything but K rations. Cause they'd been in Iwo Jima and then come from Iwo Jima into Okinawa. And I went over and brought them, they got permission from their commanding officer and come over the ship. And I told them they go in, I got them towels and soap and stuff, and go in and take a shower. Man, that was like a holiday to them, you know, to get to take a shower. They hadn't seen it. They hadn't had a shower. And after we done the shower, I said, come on, let's go up to mess hall and we'll time for chow. And I took them up there and walked in and they looked at them tables and they set the tablecloth on them and plates sitting there, knife, fork and spoon and napkins and he said, you got to be kidding. I said, no. I said, you mean we're going to eat here? I said, yeah, you're going to eat here. And so I told him, sit down. I sat down there beside me. Sat down, my uncle sitting next to me, and his buddy sat on the other side of him. And I said, he said, well, where we go get the food? I said, you just wait a minute. I said, get that menu right there. He picked it up and he looked at it and he said,
Menu?
said, why? He said, well, you said, I know you're kidding me. I said, no, I said, ain't. No, I said, ain't. I said, just, well, he said, well, what'd I get it? I said, just sit still. I said, study what you want. I said, now you can have either that or that, or if you want both of them, you can have both of them. I think, I'm not so sure, but I think there's a reason. I said pork chops and Swiss steak is what we had that day when they were there. And I said, you can have either one of them meals, or you can have both of them. You kidding me? I said, no. I said, the mess boy will be in there in a little bit and take your order. Look, boy, he says, I know you're kidding me. I said, no. I said, no, I'm not. I said, I'm not kidding you. A little bit, Tommy come in, and he took the order. And wasn't Tommy. Tommy wasn't on the mess boy then. There's another mess boy.
Yeah.
Tommy was on the other ship. And this mess boy come in, and he asked him, I said, he's our company. I said, you wait on him first. I said, it's my uncle and his friend.
What's your names?
And,
What's their names?
huh?
What?
My uncle Paul, I don't remember his friend's name.
Okay.
I don't remember that, but his name was Paul Stanley.
Okay.
And he's dead. He's passed away now. And they ate like a couple. They hadn't eaten in a long time, you know, because they hadn't had nothing but K rations that they eat, and they really enjoyed that, and they sure hated to go back.
Oh, I bet.
Go back.
Imagine so.
For one thing, how would they explain it to anybody?
Huh?
How would they explain it to the guys back there?
They were Clayton even.
It was hard. And you know, of course, being over, I was over there and they living in a tent. And overseeing that tent and what they had, and nothing. Wore the same clothes. I imagine most of their clothes, they wore the same ones for day after day for weeks.
Yeah.
And all them K rations. And I knew that but I knew that the Navy had a bed and food all the time. And then I got in the best place for food.
Yeah, you really did.
Yeah.
Merchant Marine ship, yeah. So what's okay? What would you tell people about the Merchant Marines?
Oh, the most of them were good guys. They just like you. They were good boys. I mean, they were really good.
Now some
Most
people,
of them. Now there was one or two you could meet now and then. Of course, you met one or two in the Navy that now and then that wasn't too pleasant, you know. I met one of them.
I know some of them feel as though they didn't get credit for being in the war, but what's your opinion on that?
I don't really believe. My opinion is that I don't believe they should have got the benefits that. I liked all of them, and they were good fellas. Like I said, most. But I didn't believe, not with the money they earned. With the money that they got paid, I don't think that they deserve recognition as a unit of servicemen.
Okay.
Because they had to do those jobs anyway, and then they got a bonus. They got a big bonus, not just a little one. They got a big bonus when they got in war zone. So why? And here we are, just like us. I mean, like they were giving us, to start with, they were giving us, and they were good guys like that. And they were good enough to do it. But it was stopped us from getting that extra money. Then why should, because the rest of the servicemen wasn't getting it, then why should they be declared as servicemen and get all that money and that big bonus plus their wages?
I was curious about that.
See, that was not right.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't see. I couldn't see why any distinction of why that they stopped us. They stopped the Merchant Marine from giving us if they wanted to.
Yeah.
It was theirs. They earned it. It was their money. Just like when I went in Chicago on leave, on Liberty, when I was in Chicago, you couldn't pay a penny. They didn't stop them people from giving us, buying things for us when we went in there.
Yeah.
They didn't stop them from giving us anything.
What?
Why stop them Merchant Marine from giving us a party or giving us a collection? They stopped it.
That was something kind of unique about that time. I mean, servicemen were taken care of.
In Chicago, especially. No, there was no town like Chicago.
Yeah.
There was no town. I've been all over.
Yeah.
There's never a town like Chicago.
Yeah.
Nothing like them people now. And you know who was the dirtiest people, the stinkingest people? Do you know who was? What town?
Who was that?
Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh, really? No kidding.
They had wrote on their windows, every bar and restaurants and stuff.
Yeah.
They wrote, "No sailors allowed. No dogs or sailors allowed.
Oh,
No
gee.
dogs or sailors allowed." Wrote on the windows.
Huh.
And that,
Well, you wouldn't think Charleston would be that. I mean,
no, because look how much money them people work. They got from that kind of money they got from the Navy,
Yeah.
from the government, doing naval jobs down there and working at naval stations and shipyards and all that. That money they got from the government.
I'll be darned.
They earned their living, and yet they wrote them. I've seen them. I mean, I've seen more than one.
Huh.
They don't wrote on just one place. They wrote on dozens of them. They have them wrote right on the window. No dogs or sailors allowed.
Wow. Not
Oh,
very
yeah,
hospitable.
But yet I was discharged, man.
You
Now I
discharged-
take that back. I'm going to take that back. I said Charleston, didn't I?
Yeah.
I didn't mean I meant Norfolk.
Norfolk? Okay.
Yeah.
Norfolk, yeah. Boy,
Norfolk,
I can't imagine them being
not
that way.
Charleston. Norfolk.
Norfolk, okay.
That's where the signs were. I take it back about Charleston. Charleston, where I discharged from, and I said I didn't mean it.
I can't believe them being that way. I mean, they really are heavily dependent on
Yeah.
the Navy. Gee whiz.
They were, but they were wrote on their restaurants and bars and stuff.
Good grief. Where'd you go from
And
Okinawa? Where'd you go from Okinawa?
From Okinawa, came back to the States.
Okay.
That was my last trip.
Came back to where? What port? New Orleans?
No, T.I.
Okay, Treasure Island.
Mm-hmm.
And now, on your way back, had the war ended yet, or?
You know, the war ended. Well, I was in the hospital I wasn't at T.I. I came back to T.I., but I mean, I went in the hospital at San Leandro.
Okay.
And went in the hospital there. And while I was in the hospital, I was in there twice. I was in there once. Her and I got. See, I got. I got shore patrol duty. When I got out and I got back off that one leave after I got off that ship out there I was telling you about. Went, and they gave me another, they sent me back to New Orleans because they don't, in Norfolk don't have a armed guard center, see.
Okay.
They have an armed guard pool there, where what's called the same way in Seattle, Washington. They have an armed guard pool. You they'll keep so many guys that if somebody gets off a ship, it's in the armed guard. They get off of a ship. Well, they have a pool there, a place where they call a pool, and they keep them men a certain place. And then when a ship comes in, and they need some men for the armed guard needs some men, and somebody goes to the hospital like I did. Well, they took somebody out of that pool over there to replace me. See. So when I left, and I left there and came home, got out of the hospital and had my tonsils taken out. Well, they sent me back to New Orleans, and they said, "Well, that's just on your way. You can go right. You can." They give me a 15-day leave.
Yeah.
No, I just had a 15-day leave, but they give me another one. See, and I got 15 days to spend with her, and I went back out. When I went back, then I went over to Argentina.
Okay, hang on. Okay, and we took a little pause here. We had to switch out the VHS tape, but
Yeah. I was on this ship on Cape Matapan, or another ship, and we was over in Peru, and and we had three coxswains and a second-class boatswain in that crew. It was a bigger crew because it's a bigger ship.
Okay.
And it wasn't a liberty ship. It was a MIV ship, not a C2. C2. It's just it's a bigger ship, and that's a different kind. And it hauls. It carries passengers. I mean, not passengers, but I mean troops.
Troop ship.
Troop.
Okay.
Well, it's a troop ship, and there was one of the coxswains, and I had a little disagreement about something. I don't even remember what it was about anymore, but I know that he said something about. He says I'd hit you. He said if you wasn't so little, and there was a box over there, and I kicked that box over, and I got stood up on that box, and I said, "Now I'm just as big as you are." I said, "Now hit me." And he turned around and walked away. So that's the only one that the only guy I ever really had any trouble with. But
Sound like you backed him down pretty good. Well,
yeah,
and too, you probably knew how to hit him.
And all the guys standing around, all of them was in there. A lot of the crew was in there at the time in the forecastle there, and they all got, of course, they all laughed by it, but he turned coward anyway. But we then after I left, we left. I was in Peru and Brazil, Bahia, Brazil, and Lima, Peru, and Antofagasta, Chile. And that's another place where they had Germans, Gestapos, and stuff in Antofagasta. They were more or less German, controlled there, and they were supposed to be mutual, but they're men, and part of our gun crew got thrown in prison for for nothing. I mean, really nothing. They didn't do anything. They were just out, and I guess they'd had a few drinks or something, but they didn't do anything out of the way. But all their police there was like Gestapos. They march up and down, click their heels, and turn.
Oh, brother. So how'd you get him out? I mean, did the Navy go in?
No, the American Council got them out.
Ah, okay.
And they had about, I think, 5 or 6 guys stowed in there. We went up and talked to them the next day. We stood in there, and at the bars or at the prison.
Yeah.
Yeah, we was able to go up there and talk to them. But had to be we had to be careful because
It puts
you
you
know,
in.
yeah, then
Looks like they were just looking for an excuse.
well, they weren't too friendly there. I mean, the police and stuff they weren't very friendly. But people was real friendly. But their police wasn't. But then I come back, let's see, from there. I went out on the Thomas Jefferson. Can't remember where we went, but and then I got on another. I got on a troop ship heading for heading at that time. I think it was heading for Saipan or Okinawa. They anyway had two troop ships, and the one I wasn't on. You remember the actor Jackie Cooper?
Yeah.
Well, he was on the other, but his name was on our roster. But somehow he got mixed up and he got on the other ship.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, because they called his name out.
Yeah.
On the roster, and they called it out several times, and he didn't answer because he was on the other ship. They finally found out, and then they announced it that he was on the other ship, the sister ship.
Just missed him.
And then anyway, when we got to we got into Hawaii, and gunnery officer there, he was a commander, and while we were there, he was another one I got into. He ordered the gun crew to go up and chip the captain's deck on the ship.
Yeah.
And that we were forbidden to, wasn't allowed to do work on their ship. We wasn't supposed to do that.
It
wasn't put on there.
It wasn't a Navy vessel.
No.
It was a
No, it wasn't a Navy vessel.
Yeah.
And we weren't supposed to do any work like that. And of course I was just a coxswain, and they had about, I don't know, they had about 5 or 6 of us coxswains on that ship, and a couple boatswain's mates. And but they give us coxswains a crew of men, and they ordered me. We wasn't on liberty that day. You went starboard and port liberty. See.
Okay.
Half the guys could go in town, and the other half stayed there on the ship. And you're supposed to do it, but you had watches and things like that to do. The men in the crew did, but they weren't supposed to do work like that. But they said that the decks needed it chipped, and this officer, he volunteered the crew to help the Merchant Marine chip the decks. And he and I were going around about it, and I told him that my crew wasn't going to do no work on chipping decks.
Yeah.
I said, that's not part of our duties. And then we're not supposed to do it at all.
Well, if you done damage to the ship, they could have sued you because it's a private vessel.
Me and him was going around a little bit, and as we was arguing, a messenger come aboard, and it was from the Red Cross, and they wanted to see me. That was the time of the flood. It was having the flood in Jeffersonville.
Yeah.
That was the second flood. That wasn't the big one they had. That was the one in 45. And early 45. January or something like that, wasn't it? And my boy had just been born, my oldest boy had just been born. He was a baby, and he was sick. And so the Red Cross, her doctor got through the Red Cross, sent him to find me and bring me home, because him and her were both sick. And the Red Cross they found me, and they come aboard right then when I was in this big argument. And they said that I was wanted down at the Red Cross office right away.
Yeah.
So he dismissed me. And I took off and went down there, and the doctor went, so I come back, and they came back with me, tell him that I was going to be sent back to San Francisco and back to TI, and told him what had happened. So he told me, get my gear packed and everything. I went over. I had to go over to the armed guard pool that they had there in Hawaii, and so I went over there, and I was there 2 days, and I got on the Jacob Bay Westervelt coming back to the States. They put me on it. I come back. I got back, and I went in. I had to go in and see the welfare officer. And I went in there to see him, and he said, well, he said, it's like this. He said, I've read all this over and everything, and he said, I understand. He said, I understand how worried you would be and how your family wants you there. He said, but you're in the Navy. The Navy comes first and your family second. He said, I refuse to turn down your leave.
That'd make you too happy.
Oh no, I wasn't happy. But I didn't say nothing to him. I mean, he a little bit too high up to get in an argument with, so and it just made it worse on me.
Yeah.
So I turned around and I did. I mean, I'm ashamed of what I've done, but I'll tell you. Then, of course, I did still take a drink now and then at that time, and so I went out and took a couple of drinks. I mean, I was too mad to do anything else.
Yeah.
I was too angry, and I couldn't fight. Couldn't fight nobody. There was nobody. I was whipped. So to go get a drink was all I could see to do. I mean, that's all I done. And I guess for the next several days, that's all I done. And of course, they left me aboard that ship And I come back, with them guys. That crew got off and left me aboard that ship and give me a new crew and shipped me back out. So I had them days to myself. And I just couldn't see. I couldn't see daylight. I couldn't see nothing. And I was worried about her and Larry. And I just didn't know, I just felt like there was a time that, yeah, but I think still, even though I was doing something I shouldn't be doing, I think still the Lord was with me.
You could.
I think He was with me, because He
That
kept
could
me
have kept
from.
you from doing other things that would
Right.
have been worse.
Right, that's what I said. I could have got. I might have, if I'd have kept my real mind, I might have done something I've been sorry for, and so that kept me from doing anything else. And I went back out, and that's when I went to Okinawa. I went back on this ship. That's when I went to Okinawa. I took this crew, and then when I got back from Okinawa, they put me. That's when they sent me to the hospital. From all that happening and on the way, and then getting over to Okinawa, and that happening over there, and what happened over there, and then back again. I guess I just more or less had it.
Yeah.
And they sent me to the hospital. They found I had the water ulcer, and they found out I had the water ulcer. They first put me in on the time. They said combat fatigue. They put me in for it, and then they found out I had the water ulcer. And they give me every kind of examination they could give me, and they took about 2 quarts of stuff all my stomach and stuff. And went through I don't know how many gastranalysis and stuff that I went through, tests and stuff. One corpsman about killed me. He tried to give me through my throat. He tried to feed that tube down through my throat, and he hit me down in there, and he about choked me. Then I had to jump out of the chair and run him out of there and told him to go get the doctor. He brought back fine. The doctor come back and he said, "What's the matter?" And I said, "Well, I'll tell you what's the matter." I said, "That corpsman about killed me." And I said, "About choked me to death." And I said, "And if you want me to have that test," I said, "you give it to me." I said, "Don't send no corpsman in here to do that." And so he gave it to me, and no trouble. He fed it right down, went right down me and down my stomach, and no trouble. Now I've taken several of them, took them out in California when I was out there, and they fed them, took them both ways, fed them through the nose. They had one of them that goes up through your nose and down. They can feed them down, or they can feed them down through your throat, down through your mouth. And I told him, I said, never send a corpsman to do that to me. I said, don't give a corpsman to do anything to anybody.
Yeah.
I said, because a doctor knows, or they should know anyway, they know how to do them things. And corpsmen, they're just corpsmen.
I know I was one.
Yeah.
Was you? Well, you know that you didn't know, you couldn't, did you ever feed one of them through?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, I fed them to the dogs, during my training to the dogs, and then now out in Vietnam.
Well, this, I told, anyway, I just told him, don't, because this Coleman like killed me. I mean, he got it down there, and I don't know, he just kind of stuck it there, and I read, and I lost my breath, couldn't get my breath, or anything else,
Smokes.
and he just kind of froze, and
That didn't help any.
no, so I told him, go get the doctor. And he brought the doctor back, and that's
Sometimes you got to
Hey.
be your own doctor on things.
so. But that, that's what they done when I come by, and they sent me to Charleston. Well, I put in for when I was in there. See, out there in San Leandro, they come in and said the war was over. Said the war's ended. Then a few days, they said, well, they're going to release all the guys that had points. And no, that wasn't yet. I did when I got to Charleston. I found out they had point system. They said the war was over, so I asked them if I could get a transfer from that hospital, and they said to Great Lakes. And I thought, I get Great Lakes Hospital, why? Because they already told me I was going to get a medical discharge.
Okay.
So I figured, well, I get Great Lakes for her. She could come up and her baby
Yeah.
and my folks and all my friends and everybody could come up to Chicago. So they tell me, yeah. So they fill out papers, send them in. A few days, they come back in there, and they come in and said, your transfer's here. Said, get ready, get your things packed. And I packed my things, took them transfer and opened it up, looked, and it said, transferred to Charleston, South Carolina.
Well, we got the first
Oh,
one.
well, yeah. I said, hey, I don't want this. I said, what do you mean you don't want that? I said, I don't want it. I said, I put in for a transfer to Great Lakes. And I said, this says Charleston, South Carolina. They said, just a minute. They checked. They come back. They checked on it. I said, well, Great Lakes is full. Said there's no room up there. And said they can't handle another person up there. Said so they transferred you to the nearest place to there. And then that's Charleston, South Carolina. I said, well, I'm just about as far from home, Charleston, South Carolina, as I am from here. I said, I'll just stay here. They said, no. I said, you can't. So your transfer's already through. So they give me another leave. On the way home, I had to pass through here to Indianapolis. So they give me another leave on the way. So I got to leave there again and stop. And got to stay there for a while. How long did I stay? I stayed.
You're talking about they stopped here, we were in Charleston.
No, you came to Charleston after I got there. I sent for you.
But I
And,
was in Jeffersonville.
Yeah, and I came down to Jeffersonville. I got off at Indianapolis, took a train from Indianapolis to Jeffersonville. Do you remember? And stayed down there for better than 15 days. And then went on to the hospital to Charleston. And got there, and then I found out while I was there, after I was there a couple of weeks, something like that, 2, 3 weeks, they come out with the point system. And I checked it out, and I had more than enough points to get out. So I went and asked them if could I still get my disability if I could go on out and take the point system and go out instead of taking a medical, and then apply for disability after I got out. And I said, yeah, you can do that. So I said, well, that's what I'll do. I said, I can get out right now. I said, there's going to be, I asked them how long it'd be if I stayed in on my medical, and they said, well, I'd have to be there. The doctor said I'd have to be there another 6 months at least. I said, well, I'm ready to get out of here now. So I went ahead and I went out on the point system, and then they applied for me for disability, and I got the disability then too, instead of coming out with the medical leave.
Well, I actually got something right for a change.
Yeah. And I got out, and while I was there, I found out I was going to be able to do that. I sent for her, and she came over, and we rented an apartment, and I got to go in there every night.
2 rooms.
Huh?
2 rooms.
Yeah, 2-room apartment. Well, that's better than none at all. 1 room. We had 1 room in California, and didn't get to stay very long there. I got shore patrol out there, put in shore patrol when I got out there, and right after we was married, and they put me on, and I got it. And she come out there, and they even got a job in Oakland at a warehouse. Got paid for 40 hours, whether I worked this year, and I was on duty on shore patrol every 3rd day. I had 1 day on and 2 days off.
Yeah.
So I got a job there at a warehouse there in Oakland, California. Her sister lived in Oakland. And so I got that job, and they paid me a full week, whether I got 40 hours in or not. They paid me for 40 hours. And I had it made. Had my wife, my baby. I was in the Navy. I had a job, had a place to live. I had a living, had a job, getting paid. Besides getting my Navy pay. And she was getting the so that was 1 room. That was 2 rooms in 1. And I really had it made for about a month.
That's true.
Miss Drunk, we went to the show up in Oakland, come back, and we're standing, they have safety zones out there. I don't know if you've ever been out there or not. They have safety zones where when you're going across the street, halfway across, they have a zone there. It's called safety zone, and people, for the pedestrians, they can stop and wait in that, if the light changes, you can stop in that pedestrian safety zone.
Okay.
And well, we was going across the street, and she had her arm, other man, down, she had her arm, she had her arm in mine, and my arm, hand through there. I was standing here, and she's over here. Police chasing this drunken driver. He comes over in that safety zone, hits me right here in this leg. And her and I, we lit, let's see, what was it?
22 feet.
No, 32 feet.
22 feet.
No, it's 32. It's on paper. I got something in the paper. On paper. 32 feet. We lit. And when we lit, I lit, I don't know how, we must have went like this through the air. And I came down on this side, and she was on top of me. And people, there's a big crowd of people. I don't know where they all come from, but they looked up and there's all them people. And I was just by half two, and I heard them, they said, don't know about the girl, said, but the boy is dead. They couldn't tell by her because she was laying across the top of me. And so directly here comes the ambulance and everything, and they picked us up and loaded us in the ambulance, took her to the Naval Hospital, and took me to San Leandro. And so, and I got out, and I don't know how many days it was, about less than a week, let me out.
I didn't know where he was.
And that one picture I showed you there, that naval picture where had the order, my leg, this leg was out like that. That they send me back out to sea because I couldn't walk a beat anymore, so they wouldn't let me stay on shore patrol.
So they put you back on a ship.
But give me, well, they didn't not right away. They gave me a couple weeks there. And I stayed there. I was there until you got out of the hospital, wasn't it? And then sent her back home. They put me back on duty, on sea duty. And I couldn't even walk. I mean, I could walk.
Yeah.
But not very good. I couldn't bend my leg.
You couldn't walk on a ship.
Well, I walked on there. I walked on it, but that's when I went to Okinawa and come back. But then I thought, man, I had it made. Bubble busted.
God didn't want you to live in Oakland.
Well, no, maybe that was for my drinking. At through them few days.
Yeah.
It might have been for that, see. Because I done the wrong thing. It was wrong. But still, I thought it was right. But hell, he knew what he's doing.
What?
I was the one that didn't know. I didn't know what was coming next. Still don't. But well, I pretty much I know a lot more of what's coming next than I did back then.
Right.
I know now. I know I'm safe now.
Well, I guess it doesn't matter. You're never going to die from the sounds of things. I mean, you've had so many opportunities and missed them all.
That's what I say. The Lord's been with me all my life.
Well, I'd reckon.
And
we had another fellow. Like, he went through 5 different things that could have killed him, and he survived every one of them. And I'm sitting there. You must have a bunch of guardian angels walking around you.
of course, like I said, Bob Best, the boy was with me that day when I was 6 years old. He was a guardian angel.
Yeah. Well, he sure was.
And there's been several since. Yeah. Yeah, and I had one beside that too. I mean, since I've been back. I mean, we was going to Jeffersonville, and I had I think a '62 Studebaker champion, or no, the Commander. Studebaker Commander. And I pulled out to pass it. There was a truck in front of me, a steak truck, loaded with straw, bales of straw.
Yeah.
And I pulled out, was passing him, and he started coming over this way slowly. There was a filling station and a store right down the street, down on 31. And he decided he's going to pull over in that filling station, that store. And he started out like that, and I laid on my horn. Well, there's a car coming behind me, had already pulled out, but he seen in time to get stopped. Well, when I seen that he was going ahead, he wasn't going to pull back, I turned. There was no place for me to go, except like that, and I hit my brakes, and it had been raining, but it wasn't raining then. And the grass, well, the bank goes down like that, and then it goes back up again, and then straight out. There's a ditch, a gully there.
Yeah.
And the grass was wet. When I hit that grass, that car just went like this, and it started sliding and rolled. Rolled over twice, and come back up on its wheels, right by a concrete abutment. Concrete abutment was right here, like that. Here's the abutment. The car come up right here. The car wasn't 1 foot from that abutment.
Gee.
And the back end, we just let our oldest son, he was with us, and he was about 5 years old. And he kept crying, wanting up in the front, back, the kids do when they went from the front seat, back seat to front seat. I let him up there a couple times and then back and forth. And then we had the dog with us. We had a Spitz, full-blooded Spitz, and he was a miniature. But he was with us, and the people said there that on the first rollover, it broke, where it hit the bank there and mashed the top in and broke the glass out. Well, he went out the back window.
Wow.
And then when it come back up on his wheels, I just let Larry get back up in front. I wasn't going to let him up, and she talked me into letting him back in the front seat. Again, about the third or fourth time, and I let him back up there. And if he'd have been back there, he'd have been, he'd been going, he'd scorched him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
He wouldn't have a chance. And of course, for me and her, and she had a concussion. She had it for several weeks before she got over that. But I didn't get nothing but a scratch.
Somebody watching you for that. That's amazing. I mean, you should have all been killed in a case like that, or at least hurt really bad.
Yeah, have you seen that car? But please let me bring it back to Anderson. Everybody, I'll tell you, it's down on 9. We're before where 7 comes across. It comes into 9 and goes across it.
Right.
Well, it's about 4 mile on down.
Oh, okay.
Used to be years ago. There used to be some some stores right along there. There were several stores. I forget 3 or 4 anyway. The restaurant, and then filling it a little fun. One of them, that one store, that restaurant had gas pumps out in front of it.
Okay.
But that's all tore out of there now.
Yeah.
That's all clear.
So where the post is that? Was it there at the post or?
No, it's back to the next.
Back toward Ingalls?
Yeah, back. Let's see. What's the name of it? There's a little town off this side. I didn't think I'd ever forget the name of that. No, you're not down to Uniontown yet.
Okay.
You're not that far down. You're not down to, in fact, you're not down to 50. You're talking about on the other side of 50.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about, see, this is up on that side of, this side of Reddington yet,
Okay.
where we was.
Okay.
You're not even down to, in fact, you're not to 31. I mean, yeah, you're just on 31. You just start, because see, 7's right, when 9 used to end at 31,
Okay.
and then there was 7 right
Oh.
there, and then about 4 miles down.
Okay.
And that's where it was. And I drove from there. They let me drive back to Anderson. They had to think for a long time before they let me drive back, but they said that I'd be all right if I took it easy. Well, of course, you had to take it easy. You couldn't.
What else could you do?
It wasn't going to go more than 20 miles an hour anyway you took it.
First of
Well-
all, what's her maiden name?
Her maiden name's Denham,
Denham.
Denham,
Okay.
and
Beatrice Denham. How'd you meet her?
well, that's when I worked down at the Charlestown, the powder plant down there on construction work. Just for about 6 months before I went in service. I suppose well, it might have been a little bit longer than that, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. It was longer than that because you're still in school.
Yeah.
And anyway, she was at they had a skating rink down there, and it was kind of a open, portable like rink, skating rink. And have you ever been to Jeffersonville?
Yeah.
You know where the Ford garage used to be there years ago, right on the corner of.
Yeah, I don't know it that well.
Or you
Been
don't
through
know it that
several
well.
times.
Well, there was a Ford garage right on the corner of 10th and Spring Street. You know where 10th and Spring is?
Yeah, I do know where that is.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's just where you come off of the interstate.
Okay.
And right there, 10th and Spring, you come off there. That's about the first one you can come to. It's in town. And there's a Ford garage right on the corner. And right back of that Ford garage was a big open building. I mean, they had a big open rink, skating rink. And we were, all us guys, all 4 of us went up there, my cousin and my 2 buddies and I. We'd all been in the seas together. And we went down there and went to work. All of us went down there and went to work down there. So that night we didn't have anything to do down there, and we decided we were going to go up in Jeffersonville and see what's up there in Jeffersonville. So we went up there and we seen the skating rink. And we stand back over talking and looked up and seen these 4 girls standing over there watching them skating and eating popcorn on it. And so I walked over to her. I seen her and I walked over to her. And I asked her if she minded sharing some of that popcorn.
Now, what were you really interested in, her or the popcorn?
Well, the popcorn, I love popcorn. and I learned to, and I guess it was love first sight because anyway, I started talking to her. We struck up a little conversation, and then my buddy Bedwell, he came over. He started talking to her twin sister, and then Bud and Tom started talking to the other 2 girls. So we got talking for a while, and then directly they said, well, they had to go home. So we said, well, we just walk them home. They didn't care, so we walked them home. So we talked. And told her I'd like to see her again. Made a time to see her. See, what did I came, met you down to show, down to theater?
No, you came and got me at home.
No, I came up for dinner. And then asked her mom if I could take her to the show. That's it, yeah. And she thought I was a gentleman, you know, to come to the house and everything. And I asked her first and everything, so we went to the show, and we went, I guess, I don't know, show several times. I went to Carnival one night, and then we got laid off down there, so I had to leave, so just started writing her letters. And we wrote each other about every day, I think. And back and forth. And then I went to Ohio. I went up there and stayed with my brother. Worked at supermarket up there. And then came back. And I went up there again. I worked up there before, and I went up there again. I'm got 2 times messed up there again. My thinking's wrong. That's when I joined the Navy. That's when I went to the Navy.
So did you have any discussion about
No.
getting married? I mean, a lot of couples in that
No.
situation.
Most of our
Courtship.
courtship was through letter.
Just through the letter, okay.
I got a whole box of them.
I know some
And-
couples, when they got close to getting married and they were in that service situation, some didn't want to get married while you were still in service. Others wanted to get married, and
Well, I think we wanted to get married. We kind of talked about it. I think in our letters. I think I asked her through the letter. And
that's how you proposed to her, through the letter? Or?
I think so.
That way.
And then again later, after I went down after on leave, when I came home on leave, and told her I wanted to get married, and we decided we wanted to get married, both of us, and so we got married, and we had to go in Louisville and get a marriage license. And we went over and got marriage license and that day, and we eat White Castle hamburgers was 5 cents a piece. And we went in and ordered 12.5 White Castles, and we sat down over there at the table inside. She eat 6 and I eat 12. And the next day, we come back over and we went through the phone book calling ministers.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know.
I didn't want to be married by JP.
She didn't want to be married by JP. So we called ministers, and we finally got a minister, a Episcopal minister. And we were first service couple he'd married. And her mom and her sister, one of her sisters, stood up with us, and we married.
How about that? Do you remember the minister's name?
We got it.
His
John
last name was
Elliot. Elliot. That's right.
I remember.
Yeah.
Come here, B. So what's your side of the story when you met this guy?
Well, I really liked.
First of all, was it ice skating or roller skating?
No, it was roller skating.
Roller skating?
It was open rink,
Okay.
and my twin sister and myself and 2 of our friends were standing there like he said.
Yeah.
And this man walked up behind me and he said, would you share some of your popcorn with me? And I thought, okay, I will. And that's the way it started. We talked and talked and talked, and he kidded me about their team beating our
Oh, yeah, I
basketball
did.
team.
I did.
Yes, he did. He kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
You remember that, don't you? When Hunk Francis, coach of Jeffersonville, they got him drunk,
They got him
and he was kept him in a hotel room, and
Yeah.
Anderson, Jeff was undefeated, and Anderson beat him in for the state tournament.
And he asked me about that,
And
him being from
See,
I
Middle.
the-
heard that story.
Yeah,
oh, you didn't know that?
No.
it's true.
Oh, he did. That's true.
That's what I was
But it was the
talking about.
gamblers down there in Jeffersonville that got him drunk. Hunk Francis was the coach. Then he coached over here in where over in Frankfurt, I
I
think,
don't know.
or someplace. No, we're in Frankfurt.
I really don't know. I don't know.
Now, four of you guys were watching the girls
Yeah,
before you
we
walked
spotted
over.
them.
You spotted them.
Hmm.
Did you spot the guys?
No,
No.
no, I didn't even know that they were there.
No.
They were behind us.
Yeah.
And they just walked up and kind of filtered in between us girls.
How long did it take you to figure out this is the guy?
Well, a few dates.
Yeah. a few
Dates.
days.
I liked him the minute I met him because he was open and seemed very secure and confident, and he was very polite and mannerly, except
Yeah.
the popcorn, you know. But, you know, there's some, we had a spark between us. But I didn't believe in this one date thing, you know, falling for somebody. I never believed that. But we fell pretty fast.
So, how long you been married now?
Be 60 years. And,
60 years?
In
be
June-
in
June 11th.
June.
June
It
11th.
might last.
We hope so.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, I think we'll stay with each other.
All right, tell me about the kids. You've had children. What are their names and what's become of them in life?
Larry Dean was our firstborn. He was conceived in California. Fred was out there. I went out there. And
no,
yes,
he was
was.
conceived in Seattle, Washington.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. I was up there for a short
I was in the
while.
hospital
Yeah, that's true.
in Seattle.
But anyhow, he's going to be, what, 58 next month?
Yeah.
Yeah, 58 next month. And he has a wife and two sons. His two sons one son has 4 children and the other son has 2 children.
Ah.
Those are our great-grandchildren.
Larry's got 2 boys. He had 2 sons.
Yeah.
And Vic had 2 daughters. And
Our
then
youngest.
they just vice versa. No, they didn't either. They still
They
had.
2.
Now Larry was
Yeah,
was in the
yeah.
car accident. Larry was the one
Mm.
in the car accident.
No,
When-
Yeah,
was the
yeah,
one-
Larry. He's the oldest.
He's the one I was carrying
Yeah.
when we
No.
were hit in California.
Yeah, she was 3 months pregnant
Mhm.
when we got hit in California.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does he remember? No, I mean the one where you rolled the car over.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, he remembers it. Yeah,
He remembers that.
yeah. He was city fireman for 23 years. He was the matter of fact, he was the union president for about
A lot of years.
16 years or something like that. I don't know.
And your other children?
Victor Lee was our youngest.
Mhm.
And we lost baby between
And
Larry
he's-
and Vic, but
Yeah,
the little boy.
she lost him. She miscarried one in between, and she couldn't have any more. Doctor said definitely couldn't have any more children for 5 years. So
So there's about 8
we
years
didn't
between
have
us.
it. So for 5 years, 5 years up we hadn't had it.
Yep. But Victor Lee attended, like Fred told you, Johnson Bible College until he met his future wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't get that on camera. Tell us that story. That's a neat story.
Oh, Vic was attending Johnson Bible College in Knoxville, Tennessee. And you know how the students will come in and check the campuses over and everything before they enroll in a college.
Right.
Well, Denise, our daughter-in-law now, had gone down to check things out. Now, her father was a minister, and he had gone there, and he wanted her to go there.
Okay.
So she walked into the room, and Vic was on the opposite side of the room, and he walked across desk to get to her first before any of the other guys got to her, because she was a beautiful young lady. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Get a picture of her.
Yeah. And so he got her right then.
You didn't let time
yeah,
waste that.
nuh-uh. And she didn't go to college then. She just waited on him.
Oh, we
Just
are.
waited on him. And they have 2 daughters. The oldest one is 23. She'll be 24 birthday. She's a graduate of Charleston College. And the other one is Bethany, and she's 22, and she graduated from Miami University in, where was it, Oxford, Ohio.
Yeah.
She's going to be, she is an engineer, and they're both in Atlanta. And then, of course, we have 6 great-grandchildren.
6 great-grandchildren.
Wow.
3 boys and 3 girls.
Mhm. We never thought we'd get a girl. But we
One-
finally got a
We
little
got
girl.
one.
But them's all the great-grandchildren are the 2 sons of the oldest boy.
Yeah.
The 2 daughters of my youngest son, they've never married, neither one of them. So far.
So
No.
you got the 2 boys,
Mhm.
and then they had the 1 miscarriage. Wow.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
quite a story.
yeah. And
But-
like Fred said, it'll soon be.
By the way, missing that trip when we got rescheduled, and they rescheduled our ship from Iran instead of going to Australia.
Yeah.
If I'd have got to, if we'd have made that trip there, I would have been around the world.
Wow.
But I
Yeah, you
didn't
would
get.
have. You would have been all the way around.
Yeah, I didn't make it because we had to come back.
Did you cross the equator?
Oh, yeah, I've been across. Yeah, I've been across it twice.
Did they have a showback ceremony?
No,
No.
we didn't. No, we didn't. They didn't give us any on board there.
I know some ships did and others did.
But I'll tell you a strange thing about it. You see, in reality, I didn't miss any days. But by the way it happened, I went across the equator the night that my boy was born.
Oh, but darn.
See, so I wasn't there.
You weren't even.
I never even had that day.
I had that day.
I never.
Yeah, you remember?
I remember.
You remember for both of you, don't you?
Yes, yep, sure.
Yeah, I never had that day.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I gained it back when I come back across it. Yeah.
But
You
see,
didn't have a particular day.
Fred-
back then.
Huh?
Not that same day. You gave
No,
another day.
no, I come back another day. I gained that day when I come back across. I gained that day twice. See, I had that day twice.
but you
I
want
come
to
back.
remember that Fred married a baby, because I was only 17.
Yeah, but she was 18 the next day.
Technicality.
But she tells everybody she's married when she's 17. Well, technically she was.
I was.
She was still 17.
I still
So that means
17.
Yeah.
your birthday is June the 12th.
Mm-hmm, right.
Yeah, we was
He did
married.
it on purpose, see, so therefore you only get one gift that way. You celebrate both days at one time.
Always had economic.
You take them out that night and stay until after midnight. Both of them drink. Hey, you gotta think all the time, you know.
Oh boy, that was one
Yeah.
interesting bag of popcorn.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yes, lasted. That popcorn cost me 60 years.
Hey!
Yeah,
Well, it sounds
but
like you got the better end of the deal on that.
yeah,
He did.
I did.
He did.
I did.
He
I,
did.
I attest to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had
I
our
couldn't-
problems like anybody else, but
It sometimes you find the best ones when you're not expecting to. You know, it's not one that you. Not always that you have to know them for a long time to. I mean, forever, or have like us have no more dates than we had. You don't.
very few. Very few.
We learn more about each other through letters, and I think it.
Sometimes you can, because you really
It's
put
a-
your
it's
put your
a-
heart out in a letter,
Yeah, you do. You really
especially
do.
during.
Yeah, I even wrote her quite a few songs.
Did you now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. While I was out to sea on those long days, that nothing else to do, I'd write her every day. I wrote a little every day. I didn't not a letter every day, but I'd write a little bit every day. And then sometimes I'd take a few days and I'd be thinking.
Yeah, but
And
you
I'd-
didn't realize how long. it
I'd
took to
write
get
it
this
in.
letter.
I'd write them into a poem, more or less.
You
And
still have those letters?
Mhm.
yeah,
I do.
she's got every one. of them.
Everyone.
That's a treasure in
Everyone.
itself.
Most of them he wrote in pencil, and I've wondered because they're fading. Because
Well, I never did like to write. I never
he
did
wrote a
like
lot
to
of
write.
them.
But
Yeah, he-
to her, I did. I mean, I wrote all the time to her, but to anybody else, I didn't write my mom and dad very, not too often. I wrote them. Well, you know, I wrote them once in a while, but not like I did her. I wrote her something every day.
Of course, you didn't get it off the mail.
No,
every-
no, I didn't mail it every day. I just said I wrote it sometime. There was quite a
Sometimes
few
it was months
pages.
before I get a letter.
And during your service time, was there any person or group of persons that stood out as sort of a hero to you? Some people it would be the medics, other people it would be a certain officer.
Well,
or
as I already
certain
told you,
soldier.
now,
The fellow from West Virginia?
Yeah.
Yeah,
this man,
yeah. I know. I know who you mean, but
I know his name as well, I know my own, but a lot of times, right on the spur of the moment, you ask me something, and
Hartley?
huh?
Hartley?
No. Now you're,
it's on the
now
tape.
you,
We've already got it. So.
Well,
Yeah.
you got
But we
it.
know
Yeah.
who you
That
mean.
guy he's talking about on tape, that's the one.
Yeah.
yeah. He's yeah, I thought a lot of him. Thought a lot of him. Even though I can't think of his name right now. I still think a lot of him. 10 minutes,
But that
10
was-
minutes after you, I'll remember.
Yeah.
I'll know it.
Yeah, but that was 60 years ago.
No, that wasn't 60 years
well, no,
ago.
well, 50.
Well, yeah, it was.
It was 60 years
Yeah,
ago, too.
yeah, well, let's see, was I with him before we was
Too
married?
long after, so it's got to be at least.
Before, I have to stop and think, but if that was before, yeah, it was about 60 years,
It was.
just about 60 years,
I know
because it was when that I got that leave, that I come home, that right after that, after he got off the ship,
That we married.
and we got married, yeah.
No, it was. See, I'm right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew I was.
Wetzel,
Wetzel.
Lieutenant Wetzel.
There you go.
I know his first name too. I can't even think of what it was now.
And he was your hero.
Oh yeah. I mean, as far as officers in the Navy,
Right.
you couldn't beat anybody like that. And then I told you a while ago my other heroes that I liked. That in sports. And I don't ask me anything about politicians because I don't like politicians.
I can understand that. Did you get any kind of medals for your service?
The only thing I got in medals, I got a, let's see, I got just a citation from a gunnery officer. I don't know what I done with that other. No, it wasn't in that. It's in this. Oh,
Yeah, you just pick that up with you and carry it with you.
oh, this. Well, I can't go that far, can I?
Yeah.
Can I? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you carry it with you.
Okay.
Stop.
Wait a minute. I think I left. Did I bring another envelope here? I think I left it laying in here. I think. I'm not sure. Wait a minute. My bad.
You got
All theaters.
for all
Yeah,
theaters?
and I got a citation for being in all 3 theaters of the war.
Okay.
That's what I was going to show you. I got it from L.V. Timmons, secretary. He was secretary of the Navy and commander. He was commander at the down at the New Orleans Armed Guard Center, and then he was. And then I got one from Forrestal, from Secretary of the Navy. I got a letter from him. I expect he sent some to all the guys that was in the Navy during the war, yeah. But I got one for that. But I like the other one better. I mean, from Timmons anyway, from being in all 3 theaters. Because there's not too many guys, I don't think. There's very many guys that was in all 3 theaters.
Did you get a good conduct medal?
No, I should have. I was pretty good. I behaved pretty good.
No, it goes like to me. I mean,
You know, I was thinking-
insubordination to 2 different officers.
Well, that's just, sometimes you have to stand up for your rights, and you have to, and sometimes there's disagreements on things. I mean, I never hated either one of them guys.
Well, I
They
feel
sure
sorry.
hated
never-
you.
I feel sorry for
I
the
know.
guy that replaced you on that cruise because I bet
Oh.
he had a hard go.
Yeah, and I pity him even more if he hadn't been out to sea before.
Yeah.
So I didn't, but I had no idea, and I never got to see. I tried to locate Red Laney, Wilford Laney was his name. He was my gunner's mate
Okay.
on that ship that I got off of, and he's from Alabama, and I could never remember the name of the town that he was from. So I tried to look, see, and I worked in the records down to VA down in Louisville.
Yeah.
In a regional office in Louisville. I worked at the VA there for a couple of years, and I worked right there in records. But I tried to look it up. I tried to find it through there, and I couldn't. But I should have. I should have went ahead and followed it through, and I could have found him, found out where he's from. I mean, I had his name, but I didn't. And I knew he's from the state of Alabama.
Yeah.
So I could have found him later, and I didn't know where to go to here anymore since then. And I've been down in Alabama several times. Might have been right close to him, someplace.
You go to a TV station in
and I don't
Montgomery,
know
you
if he
start
stayed
shouting
on-
out his name.
Yeah, but see, I don't know if he stayed on that ship or not either, because around about that time, I think his brother got killed or something, and they called him home.
Yeah.
And he went back, and I think when I got off the ship, I don't think he was back on there yet. So I don't know if he went with them or not. But he was my closest buddy. And the only thing I didn't like that he liked was he liked to play blackjack, and he liked to roll the dice. And I didn't like either one of them. I didn't like blackjack, and I didn't like to roll dice. And of course, a lot of guys did.
Yeah.
And I loaned him money. He got broke so many times, and I'd lend him money to get back, and he always paid me back. He was a good buddy. I mean, for that. But I tried to talk him out of shooting crap, but he just didn't. He didn't want to.
This box is all apart.
Holy smokes.
Mm-hmm.
Those are
And-
all the letters that,
1941.
wow.
There's the date on it.
Yeah.
And
Hold
See?
up.
There you
See,
go.
arm guard.
Let me get the focus.
This, see that one? This is,
Oh, here, moved it out of my focus.
Sorry.
Where we at? Well, it's hard to bring it up. I can't get the right.
you probably.
Okay.
can.
Well, let's not try to be a little too difficult for that.
Yeah,
But,
but, yeah, this is completely packed full,
wow.
see? And this is when I was still unmarried, so that was,
A lot of treasures there.
oh, that's Port Arthur Bridge.
Some of the best things we've come across have been little diaries that people have kept or letters they've sent to each other.
I regret ever destroying my letters. for
Oh,
that.
you know,
I mean, I was out there one day at the garage, and I said, well, I got the woman. I don't need the letters, so I
Yeah.
printed those letters. And
Oh man.
then about 4 months later, she got killed in a car accident.
Killed. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I wish I had every one of those
Well,
letters.
Oh,
she's
sure
got it
you
now.
did.
yeah,
I wouldn't part with these for anything.
yeah.
The
I
box,
can
I'm
see
gonna
that.
have to change the box. I had to
That-
put rubber bands all around.
Oh, see, I didn't have much of a place to keep her letters. She sent me, I mean,
Right.
and
See, it's just completely apart.
Yeah.
But I just hate to transfer it to
uh,
something else. I've got my rubber
Something
bands.
special about the box too, isn't it?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Holds a lot of memories.
Well, Fred, we always give our veterans a chance to say a few words for posterity. You got any personal philosophy or wisdom you'd like to share with the ages?
For your
Any-
great grandchildren.
Or just anyone who might see the tape?
Love the dog,
well, the only thing, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is the only thing I can say is to, if you haven't found him, find the Lord and love him as much as he'll love you. Because you can't,
Possible, but
you can never go wrong, and it'll change your life. It'll make you a different person.
Looks to me
You
like
may
he's-
not forget. I don't think you'll ever forget all of the things you've done, but it'll certainly take you away from them and see how wrong. It'll show you just how wrong and how foolish you really were. That we people we're God's people, and that's who we need to be. And as long as we love Him, and obey His commandments, we don't have to worry.
Looks like He's loved you a lot over the years.
Yep. Yes.
Well,
It
Cox
sure
and
has.
Peeples, I want to thank you for
Well-
this interview and for your service
Well,
to our
I'm sure
country.
glad to do it for you.
I know you guys are stars because we haven't
Yeah.
either.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We haven't either. We just got,
Nice of you.
I got so involved
Yeah.
with abortion and ironing today.
Oh,